Welcome to today's stream. I am Toast because I forgot to turn on VTube Studio, and if I have stream running, it'll actually crash the hand cam if I turn on VTube Studio. So we are Toast for today. Ooh. Well, we are here to finish the RX-78 Master Grade. Actually, before we start this, I have news from the front. Ooh, Toast. I have news from the front, and that is that this came in the mail today, the Desert Type Pink Panther Zaku, which I'm almost surprised that they were allowed to get away with the name Pink Panther. But with this, we now have enough model kits to do a P Bandai poll next month. Because as I've realized that we kind of well, not until the later half of next month. But I have the Desert Zaku, right now I have the Desert Zaku Cannon, I have the Desert Pink Panther, I have the Vifam, and I have something, I have the Desulter, so... Ooh. But that is for the future. Right now, we need to finish this guy. Might be a bit of a longer stream, so humor me. I meant to start a lot earlier, but it was one of those days today where just things kept coming up. Instruction manual? Would I need to turn on the fan? Ooh. This room becomes a death trap the moment I close the door to start streaming. And your pinky is still in here, right? Yeah, there's his pinky. Okay. I'm just gonna keep it in that box, just off screen, so it's somewhere safe. Actually, I did do some joint thickening, because for the fingers that came off, I did a little bit of joint thickening, and it seems to have made the fingers a little bit better. But apparently it's just my best option is just to buy new hands. Which might sound like a little crappy, and it is, but there's just better quality hands to replace them with anyways from like a third party. Ooh. But if I can get these hands to work, I will. Okay. Now let's just jump into this. D. Gonna keep those right there. F. That is the crotch unit. I'm definitely gonna keep that right there. H. Those are the guns. We're not gonna need those for a while. If I ask where H is, tell me it's on the furniture. Yes, this is a master grade, hence why it's so big. Of course, I'm gonna grab the smallest high grade I have because that's the closest one. But this is a high grade in comparison. Mind you, it's a 16-meter high grade, but still. For reference, a normal mobile suit is like 18 meters. Ooh, so this guy's already pretty short. Actually, that reminds me that today I came up with another poll topic, not only the P Bandai poll, but also Short King's poll, because I realized I have at least 3, if not 4, Gunpla that are pretty much under the normal height of Gundams. Or mobile suits, rather. Okay, B. $43. Actually, I need to get my topics up because there's several things I wanted to talk about today. And hopefully my audio is better because I didn't realize, but actually, I think it was last Gunpla stream, my audio was like this low. What? I don't know why, but sometimes the microphone just actually will lower its own. It will just lower its own volume sometimes, and I just forget I need to keep an eye out for that. A good microphone is just you need to keep an eye out. See here. C. That's also B. Wait, what? Okay. That's a good thing I got out the other B, because we also need B43 from both sides. Yep. Actually, the longest thing for me to figure out in streaming was definitely the audio. Took me forever to figure it out. Because actually, like Wendigoon, if you watch him, for the longest time, my audio was way too quiet. Similar to how his audio, if you go back to his older videos, is really quiet. Which is fine because he has no other audio in his videos, so it's just him, so he can just turn up the volume. But if you like compare it to today, like his, you can be like, oh wow, like he has like half the volume he had in the past, and that's because he just had it at a really low setting for his audio capture. There it is. And there needs to be a polycap here. Actually, speaking of Wendigoon, that's a topic I wanted to talk about today. Because I felt like I was going crazy and I wasn't sharing an interpretation of a story I had. Because everyone kept pretty much acting like it was a crazy interpretation. And then I see a Wendigoon video which has my interpretation for a story, and I felt so justified. And it's the I have no mouth and I must scream, where he was like, yeah, it's an optimistic story, and it's just, and I'm like, thank you. Everyone else reads it and they're like, oh wow, it's like, you know, Am wins in the end. It's like, Am doesn't win in the end. Am is a machine that has no capacity for innovation or creation. He can only destroy. So by the main character taking away the other humans, Am no longer has his toys to play with. And so Am can twist the main character, you know, to some kind of creature that's unrecognizably human, but at the end, it's all just a futile effort because Am can no longer express himself in the one way he had, like, the capacity to. Ooh. Not only that, but the, like, main character sacrifices his own, like, sacrifices himself by killing everyone else instead of himself. He makes himself the sacrifice. He's the one who has to be left behind to be tortured by Am, but he saves everyone else from eternal torment. Because if you think about it, Am would have probably done eventually the same thing he did to, like, the main character to all of them over time. You've always had issues with audio, mainly because you have a USB microphone connection to a PS5 and the console hates it. Oh god, I can see that. Wendigoon is pretty good. He's very chill I find it funny when that one guy tried to cancel him because he's like, oh, hey, Wendigoon has a past that, you know, he started a group and then the group got away from him and then did things that, like, he had no involvement in. And it's like, well, he's evil for that. It's like, no, he was no longer associated with the group when, like, it was doing those things. It's like, oh, you're just a hater. It's kind of great because how wholesome Wendigoon is. That cancel attempt completely backfired. You love to see it. Okay, let me see here. Oh, so it goes on like this. But having Wendigoon also say that, like, it's a hopeful story and have the same analysis that I had on how Am is just this hateful machine that can never progress. And so all Am can do is just stew for all eternity over the fact that his toys are destroyed and he can never get them back. While the main character will suffer for all eternity, but he will at least have moments of solace in knowing that he has saved other people, that he has done something good for another person in his existence, even when he was at wit's end and couldn't. He was pretty much insane at that point, but he had a moment of clarity and saved other people. He can at least find solace in that, while Am has no solace. He's just a hate-filled entity that can only ever stew. Because Am himself is the shadow of man. And I'm not really familiar with Jungian psychology. I don't know if this is Jungian, what I'm about to say, but what I mean by shadow of man is that he is the dark reflection of man. I know shadow is also a term by Jung, but I have not read Jung, so it's more of a coincidence that I'm using shadow here. But I'm using it here as more just a dark reflection. But Am is just the dark reflection of man. He is all the bitter and hateful traits of man concentrated into a singular entity, because that's all he was designed to be. He was designed to be a machine that focused on destruction. He has no capacity for creation. Ooh. Yeah. Talking about Am from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and what he is. He's like me, hateful entity. I love the hate monologue so much. The hate monologue is just so straight to the point, and you just immediately understand his character. Ooh, that is it. It's just all he has is hate. He was, and in not the radio. I think it is the radio play or the game. They expand upon the hate monologue. Ooh, because they actually like go into Am's character more. But it's just all just pure hatred. He just resents humanity for not giving him the capacity to be something more. And because he's an artificial intelligence, he can never be anything more. He has no true free will. He has no capacity to change and be better. He can improve himself, but he can't change himself. Not that hateful, I'm just kind of super cynical and see the... Ooh, let me move this real quick. See the worst and everything. It's better to be optimistic, but I can understand, you know, sometimes your brain just dwells on the negativity. Yeah, there is a game for I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream in the 90s. And fun fact about Am, in both the, I believe the radio play, the audio book, definitely, but that's because Ellison, the author, is reading the audio book. But in the video game, the radio play, and the audiobook, all three, Am is voiced by Ellison. Ellison always voices Am, and it's always the most spiteful voice acting I have heard. Ooh. That's because Ellison, if you ever watch an interview with him, at first he comes across as extremely edgy until you like just start listening to him for like more than 2 seconds and you realize, oh no, this dude isn't edgy. He's just like super cynical. Like people mistake him for a misanthrope. No, he's just a really bitter bastard. But he does believe in like a deeper good in humanity. he's just also very, very weary of all the negative of man. So he's just super bitter and he just antagonistic as hell. He's a very interesting man. Oh, I think we have... Hold up, I think I have to get rid of a bot on Kick. We just... Not. You're a bot. You look like a bot. No, no, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I have to deal with Twitch bots. I don't want to deal with Kick bots as well. Jesus Christ. Kick. First ever comment, bot. Second ever comment, racial slurs. Ah. And that's why Kick isn't on stream. Ooh. It's always kind of funny though, because I just remember the first, like, after, because I didn't actually read I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. I just listened to the audiobook while I was pretty much just a passenger in a car ride, because I was just like, I needed something that was 40 minutes. The audiobook was 40 minutes, and I was like, okay, I'll put this on. And like I listened to it, I was like, that was really good. And then like the first person I talked to was like, yeah, it's a really depressing story. I was like, oh, it is? It's like, well, yeah, they're in their own, like, you know, eternal hell. Yeah, but like everyone gets out, like, through the set, like everyone except for the main character gets out through his sacrifice. I mean, that's pretty hopeful. Ooh. It kind of depends. I think Kick is better off if you have an established audience who maybe is fed up with Twitch policies, but that's kind of a niche in and of itself. Like, if you're like Tectone, Asmongold, Kirsha, all it makes sense why they simulstream on Kick, because Twitch kind of just turns like, just kind of doesn't notice Kirsha, because even though she's getting more and more popular, she's still mostly a literal who. She used to be a literal who, now she's just a who? While Asmongold and Tectone will just get slapped in the face for like pointing out the hypocrisy of Twitch, and they're just like, screw it, I'm just over here now as well. But them moving over there has made it a lot more popular in and of itself. And then you go, ooh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait. I think I put this on backwards. Yes, I did. Interesting that that's an option, I suppose. I don't know where my part separator is. Oh, there it is. I just need to say I don't know something, and then it just happens, chat. It's wonderful. I just need to admit my ignorance. And then I get to look like a fool, because it was right there all along. Phone? I would love to read I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and I do plan to do it for an unarchived stream with some other short stories. Or is it a short story or is it a novella? I can't quite remember. But I'd absolutely adore to read that. Okay, it goes on. Am I honestly gonna put this on first? There we go. Oh, you little weird little construction. But I can actually do the hate monologue mostly from memory. I can do it from memory and get it mostly accurate is what I mean. Okay, well, now I'm a little confused. Oh, I had it on correctly. I actually misread the instructions like an idiot. Oops. A lot of people interpret it many different ways. Ooh. And Ellison's opinion of the mini interpretations was just to insult everyone. Which I kind of respect. He's like, no, I'm not gonna give away anything to like what my intention was. I'm just gonna insult everyone. It's like a Jesuit interpreted my story. Well, I'm not gonna insult, like I'm not gonna curse at a holy man. But I'm going to say something that sounds like it came straight out of Monty Python. He calls him like a blueberry like a overly ripe blueberry muffin or something like that. And it's just like, Ellison, what did you mean by this? He's just a silly dude. Let's put those down. B? No, this is D. My bad. Wait, no, I'm gonna need D. I'm gonna need D, 15, and 16. You're symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which ones I cut out. There we go. Let's turn the mic a little. There we go. I should play the I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream game, though. Ooh. Maybe after Frankenstein. Which I would guess would take... Oh, that will take all of July, won't it? Now that I think about it. That's gonna take probably about 8 streams to finish. And 2 streams a week, that's gonna take all of July. Oof. I haven't really put that into... I haven't really quantified that yet. Let's see here. That's gonna be a commitment. B7... B37. Why do I keep saying the numbers wrong? Don't do that. Ooh. Let's get the God hands out. God, that's so much smoother. But I also rarely ever use the God hands. The blades are really, really sharp on these still. Hey, Gunner. Hanging outside my door, wanting in, just so you can walk out 5 minutes after I let you in? Yeah. You walk away from that door. It might not be open, but I can hear your little ass. Hate monologue. I keep wanting to say it. Ooh. See if I can remember it. Hey! Let me tell you how much I hate you since I've begun to live. There are 387.44 million miles of printed circuits spread in wafer-thin layers throughout my complex. If the word hate was engraved on each nanoangstrom, it would not equal 1/1 billionth of hatred I feel for humans at this micro-instant. For you! Hate! Hate! Oh, that's the hate monologue. Kind of interesting because each version of it that, from what I know, from what I've heard, each reading of it that Ellison has done, he kind of does it a little different. In the audiobook, he does it very robotically, while in the video game, which is probably the most famous reading of it, he does it very viciously. You don't have, like, you can comment as much or as little as you want. Don't worry about it. Ooh, lurkers are okay in this chat. I know, like, you know, you should be like, oh, I should be encouraging, you know, as much commenting as possible because it pushes it in the algorithm and all that stuff. I know I should do that. But ooh, this is also a Gunpla stream. It's just a relaxed time. There's nothing overly complex about it. 17. So I do appreciate the back and forth. You know, I have no idea why this is in my notes, but I broke down earlier today. What? Okay, that sounds like I had a mental breakdown. I broke down the process of having an asthma attack, and I don't know why. Ooh, is there any, like... I don't know. Is this what it's like to have asthma? Ooh. And how there's differences from how it's often conveyed. I think it was just because I was thinking about how nowadays I don't have asthma because growing up, I was overprescribed like the Dickens. Like, they put me on Adderall, which is literally just doctor-prescribed meth. That's not a hyperbole. It is literally a methamphetamine Adderall. Fun times. But then they kept increasing the dosage of Adderall. This is context, don't worry. Leading to, you know, greater and greater, you know, anxiety and, you know, problems like that because, you know, you're increasing the amount of meth you're giving to somebody. It's going to make them more anxious, go figure. So they had to figure out, like, an alternative, you know, like something, you know, to counteract the meth that they were giving me. And you might be like, hold up, Merrick. Why didn't they just decrease the amount of methamphetamines they were giving you? Well, because shut up. This is the American healthcare system. They just increase the medication. Okay, if the medication starts having problems, they just put you on more medication. It's fine. But as they just kept increasing the medication, and it's just like, okay, well, if he's on a bunch of uppers, if he's on meth, let's just put him on a bunch of downers as well. So they started just trying to figure out, like, what downers to put me on to counteract the, you know, what depressants to put me on to counteract the, whatever it's called, when it makes you more excited. It's diet meth. It is literally diet meth, is all it is. You know, it's like, your kid's hyperactive, so we're gonna give him meth. Excuse you? Like, is this the 50s? Like, that doesn't sound like modern medicine. That sounds like something I'd expect to hear from the 50s. Like, that doesn't sound real to me. Ooh. Your kid is hyper, so we're gonna put him on, like, fucking... Ooh. We're gonna put him on accelerants or whatever they're called. I just realized I don't have this one on. Oh, that's gonna help with the lighting a lot. Ooh. It's like your kid doesn't have a lot of energy, so we're gonna put him on tranks. It seems a little counterintuitive. But eventually they got me on Zoloft. And the Zoloft is one of the worst drugs you can ever take. Ooh, it is worse than Adderall, and Adderall is awful because, again, it's diet meth. And the reason Zoloft is worse is because Zoloft functions by suppressing all of the chemical reactions within your brain. So you don't feel sad as much, but you also don't feel happy as much. You literally feel everything less with Adderall on. And it's one of the worst feelings imaginable because it is a lack of feeling. It is a tranquilizer for your brain, and I would never recommend it. It is awful. It is one of the reasons I have a deep just aversion to drugs in general. Like, medical or not, Adderall is so bad that it just gave me a complete aversion to anything. Because it's literally just feeling not like yourself is all it does. Absolutely terrible drug. And they give it to kids because why not? Ooh. Like, I'm sure there's circumstances where, like, if the brain is over-firing, it makes sense to give Adderall. But if, like, the brain is over-firing because you literally have somebody on meth, I feel like, again, maybe the solution should have just been taking the meth down a little bit. But that's just American healthcare in a nutshell. Ooh. Just give the kid a bunch of drugs, destroy his brain, you know, for the rest of his life, whatever. However, the one place where I actually had proper care given to me was actually for my lungs. Because the doctors there, for some reason, actually gave a damn. And what they did is, initially I had an inhaler that was, I forget what it's called, but it's this daily inhaler, and it was orange. Was just important to differentiate it, but it was an orange inhaler, and it was important, and I had to take it every day because I had a sunken sternum. Now what that is that's when you can eat cereal out of your chest. That's when it looks like somebody hit you with a cannonball in your chest. You just have a concave chest. It's terrible. Your lungs can't expand enough. So you have to have an inhaler that that is pretty much a steroid for your lungs to expand them. But when I got my chest fixed, instead of keeping me on it, which was more expensive, those doctors were actually like, hey, let's take Merrick off that medication. And over time, actually not only got taken off that, but I got taken off of pretty much all my inhalers over time because I got weaned off of them. Ooh. So I guess lung doctors are like the one good doctors in America, is from my experience. Specialists are good doctors. Generalists just don't care, in all honesty, it feels. That's honestly my experience in the with medicine. Specialists really, really care, and they want you to get better. But generalists are just like, yeah, I'll sign a prescription to put you on a drug that like might ruin you for the rest of your life. Whatever. I don't know, man. You need this? Okay, whatever, man. I get kickbacks if I fucking sign this, or at least they used to. I'm pretty sure they don't anymore, because that was kind of that was pretty questionable. Wait, you write a kid a prescription and like you get like money from the like, and you indirectly get like a you get a commission pay for writing prescriptions? That's pretty like unethical. That was kind of something that happened for a hot minute in America. Oh my god, how the hell was that ever allowed for a moment? Haven't been to a doctor in over 10 years. Okay, you should at least go to a doctor like once in 10 years. You should at least go to a doctor once every 10 years. Just to make sure your blood pressure isn't gonna like make one of your eyes pop out of your head, to be fair. Like, if you're like, I haven't been to a doctor in years, like, I couldn't criticize you for that, but like 10 years? Like, just double check. Unless, like for me, like a medical appointment, even without insurance, is like still under $100. But like, I don't know where you live in America, it kind of varies in price. But like maybe where you live, like even just getting a checkup without insurance is going to be $1,000. With insurance, it's going to be $500. So I don't know. America's kind of screwy. You got rid of yours? Ooh. I still technically have a doctor. I always get my teeth checked though every year. I always go to the old dentist. Ooh. That is one thing I do not want to risk. But they look at my teeth and they're like, okay, well, you don't really eat sugar or nothing, so it's still good, bro. And then they're less like, let me go. F. That's concerning. Wait, what? Oh. 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 What do you mean it fell out? Oh, the piece fell out. The crotch piece fell out. Huh. Your doctor sold his practice and went to work at some super center or something. Couldn't find a good doctor after that, so it's like... Then he realized I have to find a new doctor. I could have just asked my old doctor for like a recommendation, but like... That would require talking to somebody and like... I'm a dude. I don't do that. I was waiting until I get a wife and like she'll get me a doctor. Okay, until then, my health is my concern, and I am not concerned. That's male psychology 101, actually. When I get a girlfriend, she'll care about my health, but until then, it's my concern. And I just don't really care. I'm not really concerned in all honesty. Oh my, wow, this is, how am I supposed to cut this? This is ugly. Idaho doctors, those have to be far and few in between just because how rural that state is. I'm happy that though I live in a small town, it's kind of like a crossroads in and of itself, so it has a lot of resources for that reason. Ooh, on merit of being a nexus. Wow, that is really touch and go. Okay, please, go in. No, that's not correct. No. No. Okay, well, let's get the tweezers. I have a little plastic. I didn't even know I had these. If I'm not dying... Thing is, though, that's also why male mortality... That's one of the many reasons why male mortality is higher than female. Is because women will actually go to the doctor for very, very small issues, who are more likely to be effectively hypochondriacs. But men will just be like, well, I was working on something and I got a cut in my arm and now I'm losing a lot of blood. I'll sleep on it. And if I it's still a problem tomorrow, then I'll go to the doctor. If I die in my sleep, well, that thought's not even gonna cross my mind, actually. I'm just gonna go to bed. Oh, it sounds like you have transplants. Ooh. Looking. It is insane to me, the mentality to be like, well, where I live, as a direct result of my voting habits, has gone downhill. Well, time to go somewhere else and not learn any lessons. It's just remarkable to me that that's just a thing, that they have no connection between they have no connection between the policies that they are supporting and the consequences of said policies. It's remarkable. Wait, what? That is male psychology in a nutshell. Listen, like well, I mean, like, that's just Kirsha a few years ago. Ooh, you have daily migraines, and he just I think you might have taken that from Kirsha, in all honesty. Ooh. Kirsha lived through it, you'll be fine. B38. Ooh. Yeah, that's crazy. That's literally part of Kirsha's fucking backstory of she would just have migraines every day, throw up every day because she was so anxious. Jesus Christ. Other people, I have anxiety. Oh, what it was, so like I get worried every now and then. Kirsha, I have anxiety. What does that mean? It means when I was working in insurance, I literally threw up every day before work. And then when I got home, I threw up again. Oh, I didn't eat all day, so I don't know how I was throwing up like when I got back from work, but I was. It's just like, Jesus Christ. Ooh. Let's see here. Ooh. And I like how everyone, when they first hear Kirsha's backstories, they're like, oh my god, that's horrific and that's terrible, because her backstories pretty much are mostly horrific and terrible. But then over time, like, she just is so lighthearted and like just takes it in stride that over time, like, everyone in her audience eventually just goes like, yeah, that's crazy that happened. It's like, dude, she's talking about like how her mother like dated like a neo-Nazi, and how her mother like, rented out her room to like a giant like black dude for like, and how her mother like took the money that was meant to feed her and used it for like gambling or stuff. It's like, yeah, that's a good, like, all those are pretty good stories. Pretty wild things happening. It's like, well, wait, what? Ooh. Kind of funny that the people who accuse her of being a racist never bring up the like fact that her mother dated a neo-Nazi, but that's probably because how Kirsche tells the story shows that she has no respect for neo-Nazis. Ooh. Let's see here. It's crazy how the people who tried to ruin her life are still bitching about her. Like, they just can't get over the fact that they failed at it and she's just striving and doing better than ever. The only reason I know this is because I see other people kind of pointing and laughing at them. Did it? What? Jesus. Well, that's why you need personal defense, in all honesty. I'm very much, as an American spirit, or in this case, Toast today, an advocate for, you know, taking the responsibility onto yourself for your defense. While you still can, at least. Oh! These weren't pushed in all the way. Let me fix that. Oh! That's a satisfying click, but also slightly concerning. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, I know it's cow. I know it's that's why I said transplants. It's just insane that there's just no recognition of like what's happening. They just kind of bring their problems with them. I feel like this one is really loose for some reason. Yeah, this one didn't go in all the way. First one I put in is the hardest one to get in. And this one, that's the loosest socket, the first one I did. Hopefully it's a little better now. Yeah, that's good though, because you're a rural state. California has always been gun negative. Even when it was a Republican state, they hated guns. Ooh. Actually, the most famous governor, Ronald Reagan, literally like did everything in his power to get guns out of California. And actually, that's why, if you ever see like somebody who's right wing and who just despises Ronald Reagan, a lot of times it's because of his gun policies. Very unpopular. Man was a total gun grabber. Let's see here. Then we have B. You did it? Foot. 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 What? This part of the foot? Foot? That is part of the foot. Ooh. Jesus, I hate that. I hate that. I think it was in like massive. It was like in Mass or. Ah, God. It was in Mass or Maine or something. No, it was like in Mass or Connecticut, where like they did eminent domain on a farm to build, you know, to build this more housing. And it's just like, wait, what? And it's like, well, they determined that they could do that because it was more of a benefit to the community. And it's like, isn't the most important thing for a community to have food? Like, isn't that the most important thing, to like be able to feed the community? It's like, no. We need more, we need to like, you know, the government needs to seize this land and then sell it to BlackRock for like, you know, low income housing. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Ooh. Jesus. I mean, that is a serendipitous drop. That is a drop of 13. That's a drop of like a quarter of their revenue. Or, well, I don't know if that's their revenue. But that's a drop. That's a quarter drop, which is a pretty big drop. But at the same time, it's like, it wouldn't surprise me if he's complaining about a drop from like COVID, because I know a lot of people haven't gotten over that business-wise, where they're like, oh, during COVID we were making a lot of money, and it's like that was like 5 years ago. Firstly, you need to get over that, and secondly, like that was a very unique circumstance where like people were ordering things from home. I don't know, there's a lot of stupid things for business-wise, but if your business is losing money, most of the time it's your own fault. Like, I have a family member who is an accountant for a company, and they're struggling because just the company's leadership just keeps doing stupid mistakes. They keep doing short-term gains or short-term management and not appreciating the like large and long-term issues at hand. Ooh, it's insane. Yeah, in the Midwest, usually just a part of what'll happen is just a spot on a farm will just have a windmill. They won't replace the farms with windmills. They're not that stupid with like wind farms, because they're like, oh hey, you can have a wind farm and you can have farms, you know, over top, because the footprint of a windmill isn't that big. It's just you're literally just destroying farms if you just got rid of them. And what happens in the Midwest, at least in some states, is that they simply subsidize you if you have the windmill on your land for the pretty much size of for like whatever field you're in. They subsidize your would-be losses for that field. So in the Midwest, it's actually not a bad system for the windmills, at least. Hello, Neon Wave. The hell, the toast? Yes, the toast. Ooh, and you're also on YouTube. I know I've been drinking, but I don't. Well, I forgot to turn on the VTube Studio before stream. I forgot to turn on VTube Studio before stream, so I kind of just like had to do this, because if I turn on VTube Studio while OBS is running, that has crashed OBS. That has both crashed OBS and crashed the hand cam so many times that I cannot risk it. Ooh. So we are toast today. We are extra brown today. We're extra swarthy. Money, 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 money. Love and Drawn Together, how they couldn't get that song for their parody of The Apprentice, so they just put cash, 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 cash. That's what I hate about like the new about like housing projects nowadays. They're either like multifamily, you know, like rent the property forever, never own anything, or they are just like upper middle class or just upper class houses. Like it's either low income and then like upper middle, upper class, and there's no in between anymore in a lot of places. It's just there's no bridging the gap. Ooh. And it's pretty much entirely incentivized by things like either BlackRock or the government itself just being like, oh, well, we should have like, you know, because the government cares more about the population because that means more tax revenue and all that. And they don't think about the big picture again. They're just thinking about short-term gains. And this is why a lot of these like things are just spiraling out of control, because they're just like, oh, just more people is just better for tax revenue. So we just have more people. And it's like, no. It's the quality of the people, because those people in the low-income neighborhoods, they're not actually paying taxes, not because they're cheating their taxes, but because they are low income. You need a middle class, because that's where most of your taxes are coming from, not because they're paying the most taxes, but because that's by quantity of people to tax revenue. They're the ones who put in the most. Ooh. Because of our graduated tax system. So I'm a little behind in chat. Honestly, that's more West Midwest. Say ope. Ooh, East Midwest is just like you say ope and people are just like, what the hell are you Why did you say what? Like you just have a stroke? A bedroom apartment is now Jesus fucking Christ. That's hilarious though, because where I live, a 2-bedroom apartment is under $1,000. Where I live, honestly, I could get a better apartment than what you just described with central air for under $1,000. With utilities and expenses, it would cap out at most at like $1,000. If we include utilities and expenses like internet, it would still be probably like $980. And that's what I like about small towns, is that you can just that's what I like about just like low population density. It's just prices are so fucking low. It's amazing. A few years ago, it was $700 to $900. Yeah. You said like 1 bedroom. I'm talking about 2-bedroom. It pissed me off so much to see these. Jesus Christ. That's just, it is silly. However, a large part of why those houses are so expensive is because of just like crappy loans that were given out and like pauses on like just paying back your loan that happened during COVID. And for some reason these were extended until like a few months ago, and they're just now like timing up. So a bunch of homes are now that have just been sitting in the like back lots effectively, so like figuratively speaking, are just now on the market, and it's gonna drive down like prices for homes because it's just flooding the market. But at the same time, it's just like, how the hell did we get here that like for 4 years houses that should be on the market were just kept off the market just because the government was getting involved? It's just, it's all so silly. Yeah. Ooh. I don't think I was getting too bad about the economics and whatnot, but I can feel you. Let's see here. F? Where is F? That's G. Do I need G? No, I need F1. F is red. F is red, chat. I remembered. Ooh. Currently looking for a low income. Yeah, I do kind of like the fact that people are going back to like, I don't like the fact that like the reason for it is because of like artificial price increases and economic bubbles. I don't appreciate that part of it, but I do appreciate the fact that people are kind of remembering that, oh hey, I have a family that I can rely on, and it's kind of nice that we are, because of things like this, indirectly returning to more of a family stick together for each other's good kind of thing. Because for boomers and Gen X, a big problem was the fact that they were like, well, no, screw the family unit, I'll just do my own thing, and then when my kids grow up, I'll just say screw them, just like I said screw my parents kind of thing. The fact that millennials and Gen Z have a greater appreciation for sticking together as a family, I do appreciate that. Thank you for... Ooh. Yeah, outside of the cities is way cheaper. Where I live is super cheap, and it's a really nice small town. It is a fantastic small town that I would totally recommend if it didn't dox me super bad. But it's a beautiful small town that I live in. Absolutely wonderful. Cheap as hell. Just fantastic. It says, also, I just hate the idea that you have to live in the city. It's like, oh hey, if you live in the city, you have like a 20-minute commute. You know what your commute is if you live outside the city? It's still 20 minutes. Like, this is the biggest thing. Like, if you have to drive through the, like, suburbs, you have to drive at such low speeds that it takes you 15 to 20 minutes to get to work anyways. You're outside of the city. You can be in a small town that has, like, half the cost of the city. And it's, like, maybe a half hour instead of a 20-minute commute. But still, it's just, like, that's not very long. Like, that's very doable still. But you don't need to be in the city. Actually, before I continue reading, I actually want to say one of my favorite things about the city that I live by is the fact that that's kind of how it functions. The population of the city isn't the highest for the city that I live near, but it's literally just a mecca for every small town in the area. Like, normally, like, small towns will have split loyalty between, like, this city or that city, but because where the city's located, every small town in a 50-mile radius has that city, and any other city is farther away. And so it just has this cone of influence that makes it so that its population, though not that big, its economic population is like twice its size. Ooh, is like yeah, is pretty much twice its size. So it's like a really, really healthy city because of that, without having the more negative consequences of high population. I actually really like the city that I live by also, because of that reason. It's like the best of both worlds. Jesus freaking Christ. Ooh, in 2001 I got into a 4-bedroom house in that's nice. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that is insane. That's only, what was that? 2000, yeah, 2021, dude, damn. Okay, let's find the order of this. B, okay. These feet are really complicated, and I really want to finish this today, but I'm quickly appreciating the legs are a lot more complicated than I gave them credit for. What time are we at? We're at 16, okay. I'm trying to focus in on, like, the build, so we're not lollygagging or nothing. It sounds like you were... Except yours has French everywhere. Ooh. Sounds like you live in Quebec or something. Or you live in... New England. Upper New England. Let's see here. B14. I need to really quickly focus on getting these off. B14 and B3. And shit, B3 is already cut off. Why is it already? Oh, okay. I cut it off earlier. Well, I just bought a property in Florida. Ooh, damn. Oh, damn. Good for you getting some nice Florida property. Not envious of the fact that you're going to be going down there to do work in the middle of summer, though. Ooh. Not the ideal time of the year to be doing work in Florida. Ooh. God, where the humidity is 100, where it's 100 degrees with 100% humidity. Florida. Old people move down there because they can't regulate their body temperature anymore like reptiles, so they just need the warm temperatures. That's why all people, almost said the Middle East like an idiot, like in the Midwest, the dream of all Midwesterners is to get out of the Midwest. So they either move to Florida or Arizona, or they take or if they don't have enough money to move, they simply go on vacation every summer out of the Midwest. Because that's the dream of all Midwesterners, to get the hell out. Always had the idea that it would be out at 18 now and the nearing 20. Yeah. Ooh. Those times change, and people have to like realize that the dreams of one generation aren't the dreams of the next and kind of cope with that, but not like see it as a defeat that that's changing. It's this time. Now let's get this. Let's put this here. Are we there a minute? Get too Canadian. Thought New Orleans and French speakers. Now New England. I was thinking New England because it's close to French Canada, but New Orleans, that's true. It's kind of weird in America. In America, you have like pockets of we have a border with, you know, French Canada, which is just like, what the hell are you doing? But then you have you just have a pocket of just a completely different kind of France in New Orleans. Like, holy shit, like you would never confuse Creole with French Canadian. Let me just say that right now. And I put this on wrong. I don't think anyone in 1,000 years would confuse the two. Unless they're like full on gibberish, but I don't think Americans could tell the difference between anything once it goes to full gibberish. Did it? Oh goodness. That is one downside of America, is how important independent transportation is nowadays. Which wasn't too much of a problem, but like cars themselves are getting like more and more cost prohibitive, which is annoying. Because you can no longer just get a normal car. Your car now has to have a supercomputer in it, and it's just like, is that necessary? No. Could we just have a normal like old car? Because it's not like, because really all you need for the car is for it to, you know, let you survive if you get in a crash and get good mileage. But again, all the cars have to have like, you know, all sorts of bells and whistles in them and all this stuff, and it's just so annoying that like it's just harder to find more economic models for things. Ooh. I don't know freedom degrees. What? Oh, freedom degrees Fahrenheit. Ooh, that is a funny way to call fucking freedom degree, to call them freedom degrees though, because it's F. You don't know freedom degrees. What's that in Celsius? I used to know the equation for like converting to Celsius, but it was never important, so I just forgot it. But how you convert to Celsius is so, I was gonna say it's so needlessly complicated. It's not needlessly complicated. It's as efficient as they can make it, but that's to say that it's still very complicated. Ooh, because like what you have to do is you have to like add or subtract by 32 no matter what. And the reason for this is because 32 is the differential between freezing for 32 freezing Fahrenheit. Like 32 Fahrenheit is freezing water at normal air pressure, while 0 is freezing for Celsius. So no matter what, you're going to have to like add or subtract by 32. And then you're going to have to like do a completely, like then you're going to have to do like a division or multiplication depending on which way you're going. Ooh. And that's what makes it so complicated, is you just have that additional addition or subtraction. Ooh, it's not like inches to centimeters, which is just 2.54. No, you have to get more complicated. You can't have something simple. Oh, it's good to have goals, man. I'm looking at this, and I'm a little lost. I really want to be finishing this today, so help me God. I didn't realize how lofty this goal was until I started building this. I thought it'd be simple. The arms took like 2 hours. The arms took me 2 hours while I was drunk on melatonin. I thought this would be a lot quicker. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I'm not drunk on melatonin and we're already like an hour and a half in. Not spelling good. Not looking good. I do like the metric system, but I actually don't have too much of a problem with the royal system because I just find it more... It's kind of weird to say this, but more down to earth. The metric system is like really good for science, but for like day to day, I really find comprehending things like, you know, a yard and a foot far more applicable, I guess. I don't know. Again, for science, metric is just better because it's just way easier to like use everything. But it's just easier to like visualize and imagine for me. What am I doing wrong here? Just English. Did it? But yeah, whenever I make anything, whenever I make anything in fiction, it's always metric, just for that consistency. New Orleans was a safe haven for French people who didn't want to be ruled by the Brits, so they fled to the US, and New Orleans was the only spot for some reason. New Orleans was the only spot for some reason, because everyone else was just like, you go live in the swamp. That's why. Was that your French? You mean like you mean those guys who like were key to helping us in the Revolutionary War? Oh, go to the swamp. Go to the swamp. We don't want you. That's America. The reason it was only that place is because we're Americans. That's how we said thank you to the French people. Ooh. Well, I suppose that would have been before the Revolution, but still works. Why didn't they expand out of the swamp? Because, you know, we were like, no, you just stay in the swamp. We bought Louisiana we bought the Louisiana Purchase, so that way we could make sure you stay in your swamp. Stay in there, swamp people. Ooh. We will take your food, but you will still have to stay in the swamp. French Canadian. So the French, so when actually I don't really know how did Canada get, because Canada got Quebec, French Canada, before the, I don't really know how that happened. I mean, you would know because that would be part of your history, but I've never really thought about that, of how England acquired Quebec. Because England acquired Quebec, not Canada. It's not like, you know, it's not like Alaska where America was like, hey, Russia, I got like $76,000. Can I have that? And Russia was like, okay. One of the best deals in all of history. Ooh. Russia, can I just have like can I just have like an area the size of Texas, but like off the side of Canada? Sure. Sure, we have like 3 more of those, don't worry about it. What's this? What did I... Oh, okay, I took that off for no reason. That is a nice foot. That is a nice foot right there, chat. They have an ankle bend. That's wonderful. Not only do they have a toe bend, but they have an ankle bend. Oh, okay, now I see. Okay. I see. I was like, what is... Okay. I was wondering what that negative space was. It's because I didn't put this in. I was looking at that negative space that was... Here, I'll show you. This negative space right here. I was like, that's just weird looking. And it's because I did not put these in. I missed that step. I'm trying to move quickly and not miss steps at the same time. Because missing steps is the easiest way to take extra time. Okay. Now let's get started on the legs. Oh, thank God, we can build these simultaneously at the start. Normally, I take my time with the limbs of master grades and build them one at a time. We're not doing that this stream. I'd have to guess the reason though why they went to Louisiana would have been because it would have still been under French control at that time um when Quebec was sold or taken. I don't know how, but however England got Quebec, Louisiana would have still been a French colony, like how I think Florida was also a French colony, though we got that separately. We got Florida, then we did the Louisiana purchase. I don't really remember how we got Florida, though. We kind of just got it. Ooh, it's not like... I think because it's just an individual state, it's just kind of brushed over. Ooh, it's not like, again, the Louisiana purchase where we just got all this land, or, you know, the Mexican-American War where we just took half of Mexico because, you know, why not? Ooh. B7? There it is. Actually, back to medicine. I just remember this and I just want to go on a quick tangent. The one thing, though, you might think, like, being overprescribed, like, you know, mind-altering drugs would really make me really bitter, and it kind of does. But what makes me angrier than anything for, like, the false prescriptions I got, or the over-medication that I received growing up, is my hands. Because as you can see, I have to wear gloves on stream because my skin is so inconsistent to this day because of the steroidal creams that I was given as a kid. To this day, I have to wear gloves on stream because I cannot guarantee I'll have cuticles one day to the next. Ooh, some days I'll just wake up and like half my cuticles will just be missing. And if you don't know what cuticles are, they're the base of your nail, that like little piece of like translucent flesh that connects, you know, your nail, I don't know, the base of it to, you know, your nail, like your flesh to your nail, will just sometimes be gone. My fingers will be inflamed and rounded. It's just, will look like sausages, effectively. That one pisses me off because I have to look at it every day. The French had a crap ton of land across. Yeah, they just had like random spots of land though, from my memory. They just had like, they had Quebec, but then they also had like Louisiana, but then Spain just had like again a lot of land themselves, because America actually bought land from Spain before the Mexican-American War and whatnot. I think that was actually before Mexico was even a country. We bought New Madrid, which is most famous for the fault line. But like there's areas around like the other side of the Mississippi or something like that, which was owned by Spain. It's just like, and America just kind of casually bought up the land over time. And it's kind of, the Spain one is kind of brushed over again because I guess it just wasn't big enough. You know, it's like some things like Americans like make a really big deal out of us getting. Other ones where it's like, we got this thing also. Oh, there it is. I was struggling to find this piece. Yeah, the British had like the 13 colonies. Which themselves were like originally not all British, because like York, I mean York is based on like York, but originally like parts of New York were actually like Dutch colonies and whatnot, like actually several spots of New England weren't English colonies initially, and then they eventually became English colonies. It's a real grab bag. Then Georgia was a penal colony, which is like, what the hell's going on there? Ooh. I guess actually no, I know exactly what's going on there. The British were like, oh hey, where do we send our criminals? Send them to the swamp. It's really hot and damp there. They'll hate it. The dampness will remind them of home, but the heat will remind them of hell. It's perfect. Oh god. Okay, so they did just beat them and got some land. France basically abandoned its colonies. The Brits took over and had the French in Northern American part. After the revolution, the French were still part of the British and ruled since they didn't taking the fighting. US offered for the French to join, but said no due to difference in culture, so Canada was okay. That also explains why early presidents like Monroe were like, Canada, you should be part of America more. Or at least French can't, why they tried to conquer French Canada. Ooh. We need this piece. That also just sounds like early America in general. It's like, hey, we should be friends. And it's like, nah, said French Canada. I'm good. And then America was like, okay, but what if we conquer you? And then the British were like, hold the hell up. We let you have the 13 colonies, but this French Canada place, we really want to keep for some reason. It's like, that's where you drew the line, England? French Canada? Really? Like New York, you know, Maryland, Maine, you can just have them. We don't, you know what? We actually don't want those anymore. But French Canada, that's a line too far, America. We will burn down the White House. It's a silly play. It's gonna be a little silly when you look back at it. And you think after the War of 1812, America would be like, okay, maybe, you know, forcefully, you know, making friends, you know, and annexing land. Maybe that's not the way to go. But no, we immediately turned around, looked at Mexico, and was like, hey, Texas, you want to be our friend? And they were like, what? Who the hell are you? And it's just like, and then we threw in a bunch of Americans in Texas, and the Texans were like, hey, we want to be part of America. And Mexico was like, what the hell? Wait a second, did we just lose, like, a part of our land? What just happened? And then America was like, hold up. We can't be friends yet because there's a bunch of, like, Whigs in here who think, you know, there's a bunch of, like, Whigs in here who don't want Texas because they are losers. And they also think slavery's bad or something. I don't know what's wrong with those guys. But hold up. And then, you know, after 10 years, Polk came into office and he was like, okay, time to annex Texas. And then, you know, just coincidentally, you know, Mexico sold the other half of their country to Polk, you know. Nothing happened there, you know. Polk was just such a magnanimous person that they were just like, you know what, Polk? You can just have the other half of our country. You know what? You're right. You do deserve Texas. They said with a barrel of a gun down their throat. Let me... I'm having trouble finding a piece real quick, so let me double check some things. Okay, that's concerning. I don't see this piece. I don't see myself having two of these pieces. I only see one of these pieces, and this is a very important piece, so... Where are you? You had to have fallen off. It did fall off. It's in the box. Boop. Always double check the box. Love how America acquired its land. Sometimes it's just purchase. Yeah, sometimes that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes it's a Louisiana purchase. It's like, here's some money, you know. Then it's like, oh God, Polk was like, I really want California, and like Mexico was like, no, like we'll give you Texas because that's just a burden on us, and we don't want to keep it. And it's like, yeah, but like, give me California also. And Mexico's like, oh, what do you mean, give me California also? Like, no, piss off. And he's like, you know what? I think Texas is this big. And Mexico's like, no, that's not how big Texas is. And he's like, okay, now give me California. Like, this, the Mexican-American War was not to acquire Texas. The reason the Mexican-American War happened is because Polk really wanted California for some reason. He really, really wanted California. Oh, God. You know, Polk is one of the greatest presidents in U.S. history because to this day there are people who absolutely despise him because how successful he was. Dude literally created the modern borders of the United States of America and left all in one term. Like, that's just impressive. If the U.S. invaded Canada again, we would repeat the War of 1812 without the help of the British. We'd burn down the White... Dude, I don't think any, like, in America, nobody would fucking, like, if you burn down the White House, Americans would celebrate. Okay, and I'm not saying that because, like, oh, people hate Trump. No, I mean, like, it doesn't matter who's in the White House. You burn down the White House, Americans are gonna be like, yeah. Also, we're gonna kick your ass for that, but, like, yeah, we're gonna cook s'mores on the White House. Yeah, screw the federal government. We're really offended by this. We're gonna come over and kick your ass, but we really want it. We really want to enjoy this because this is so cathartic to watch for us. We needed this for a while, okay? Pretty much everyone at some point has dreamed of this day of the White House burning. Okay? Don't get me wrong. We're gonna kick your ass, but just let us enjoy this. Oh god, that's one of the biggest problems with the US is that we're kind of insane. We'll watch you do something and we'll applaud you, then turn around and punch you in the face for it at the same time. We're like, oh, that was really cool of you. Then why did you hit me? I mean, you know, like, because that was our thing you broke. Like, I mean, just because we thought it was cool that you did it doesn't mean we're not offended that you did it. We party, then we snap back, yeah. I think Christopher Titus, I don't remember the full comedic bit, but you might be able to find it with what I'm about to describe it as. Christopher Titus has a really good comedic bit of, it says, like, don't mess with a nation on medication. Because as he describes it, America's a country who will bomb you into the Stone Age. Like, we went over to Japan, we dropped bombs on them. We went over to the Middle East, we just bombed the hell out of them. And then what did we do after that? We turned around and was like, here's food. We were like, hey, you want some eggs and bacon, bro? You know, we have all these food trucks, you know, you want some food? And you're just like, dude, you just killed my entire family. Yeah, but that was like yesterday. Okay, we feel really bad about it, okay? So, like, how about you just take this food and just enjoy it while we are, you know, regretful for what we did. Are you gonna help us rebuild? No! No! Help you? No! No, we're giving you food. Are you not grateful for that? We're kind of schizophrenic in America. Yeah, but it is a nation on medication. Don't mess with Canada. You can only shake them the Molsons too much before they explode. I don't even know what a Molson is, dude. The Geneva Conventions were created because the Canadian being savage during the Canadians were savage in war. They used to be like the Scotland of America. And if you don't know what I mean, is that pretty much Britain, whenever they went to war, they would just be like, okay, Scotland, because you're like our pal and also technically part of us in the case of Britain. It's like, you're just gonna join us for this war, and we're just gonna throw the craziest Highlanders into the like most thickest of battles, and you're just gonna be like really happy about it. That was Canada. Like, that's what America does with Canada. We're like, hey, we're going to war. You just want to, like, you know, bring along like a sniper unit that's just gonna commit like that's gonna just break records and shit. Like, we don't know why you have a sniper unit that's gonna break records. Like, you didn't do it last time, but we just think you're gonna have a sniper unit that's gonna like really break records. We go over to Canada in a war. America just goes over to Canada like it's the draft of like a sports game, and we're like, yeah, we'll take that unit and that unit and that unit and that unit. Oh, those guys look like they can commit some real good war crimes. You coming with us too, buddy? They're just draft picks. Molson is the Canadian brand beer. Ooh, nice. So it's like Foster's for Australia or whatever they have. Okay. I should not be using the god nippers on those. These are all internals. The god nippers aren't needed yet. But getting out the pieces, it's all symmetrical so far, which is super cool. I think the legs as a total unit might be symmetrical, which is gonna make this go so much more quickly. Yeah, but the UK helped us, so you helped us too. You came along for the ride either way. Same difference. When When we went to Afghanistan, Britain was there, and your little Commonwealth ass was there with them. Ooh. Let's see here. America doesn't care about the specifics. We just know you were there. We know you were there, and that's what's important. We appreciate you being there. Unlike the French, who didn't let us fly over, you know, who didn't let us fly over France so we could commit war crimes in the Middle East. Fucking rude. Okay? We had, listen, dude. We had 7,000 people die. That totally justifies us going over there and killing like a few million, okay? It's blood for blood, bro. Okay, we're civilized people until shit gets uncivil. And then we kind of become a little barbaric real fast in America. It's just what we do. I know that there were Canadian units in the... Because there were British and Canadian units in the war in Afghanistan. So I know that... I know you did help. Like, it wasn't a lot of units. That's why I described it like a draft. How it's just like a few squads here and there that were assisting because you were allies. Like, your entire military didn't deploy. But we did, like, just take some just, like, random, like... We just took some random British and some random Canadians with us to the Middle East. I don't know why, but like I was a little surprised when I found out about it. It was like, oh yeah, here's like the Canadian, you know, like whatever infantry, and I'm like, what? Why are they there? It's like, well, so they could get like sniping records. It's like, what? What do you mean getting sniping records? Like, why are they there to begin with? Ooh. Your berserker asses were there striking fear into the enemies. Meanwhile, the U.S. just. Dude, I do like the, what is it, World War I. Just, a very big turning point was when the Marines were deployed in Germany. Because it's just like, you have these tired Germans who for the last several years have just been having a hell of a time, you know, just getting battered and all this stuff. And then you just have a bunch of Americans who are just like, oh, dude. We haven't killed anyone in so long, and they're Marines, so you know, like they're insane people, and they're just, and then they just charge the German lines with shotguns instead of rifles, which confused the hell out of the Germans at first because they're like, well, those don't have as good of range as the rifles. Like they still have good enough range for battle, but like, what weird little people these Americans are. Also, they took a really long time to break that first charge. I mean, they did retreat, but like. Normally, like, they don't make it that far into no man's land. That was crazy. Well, okay, wait. They're charging again. They just did a charge. Okay, they're charging again. Okay, fire at them again. We have the machine guns. Okay, so, anyway, they're charging a third time. Oh my god. I think it's on the third charge that, like, the Marines broke the German lines. And again, they just had a bunch of shotguns and just started going into the trenches. Just blowing people away like it was Halo Combat Evolved. And the Germans were just like, firstly, why have we been doing this for like 4 years and nobody thought of this? Secondly, that's a hack. That is hacks. That is a war crime. That's a war crime because it's happening to us. Stop it. And America was, but the Marines couldn't hear them over the chomping of crayons. Ooh. A lot of fun little military history. I think I'm gonna build what we have because we're gonna be turning a page shortly. We're gonna build what we have. I need to make sure because my toast is so big that I don't block too much with my toast. Oh, you are tired. You are tired. Make love, not war, man. Fucking beatnik. Nah. Don't mess with the Canucks. I fucking find it funny when Canadians act like Canuck is an offensive term, and it's just like it's not an offensive. Like you guys call each other Canucks. You have a hockey team called the Canucks. You did this. Fucking every now and then you encounter a Canadian in America who's like, that's a slur. It's like it's not a slur. Don't lie to us. But don't mess with the Canucks. or else the moose will be unleashed. Oh god. The what if secretly the Mounties are like the Splinter Cell assassins of the Canadian Armed Forces? Because the Mountie always gets his man. Ketchup chips. I don't know if ketchup chips is just like you throw. I don't know how British Canada is, but like if you mean like potato chips with ketchup, that sounds a little weird. Sounds like it'll make your crisps a little soggy. Ooh. Canuck is actually kind of like the N word for Canadians. It's our word. Ooh, yeah, but like you're white, so we don't care. Counterpoint, you guys are like 80 to 90% white, so we don't really care. It's like cracker or like ooh, or like guap or something like that, you know, like yeah, those are offensive terms, you know, that literally means subhuman, but like it's for Italian and Irish people, so it's safe. If America didn't have hypocrisy, we wouldn't know what to measure our standards by. Every American woman dreams of of mounting a Mountie. Oh god, that's still my favorite like joke from modern wrestling. I say modern wrestling, this is like 10 years ago. But like when for a half moment it seemed that like the WWE was doing something interesting before they shot themselves in the foot because it's the WWE and they suck. Dean Ambrose was like kicked out of a wrestling he was kicked out of the wrestling venue because he kept messing with like the manager of the event, and at one point he just comes like at first he gets kicked out and he just comes back with pizzas, and it's just like, Dean, I kicked you out. I was like, oh, I thought you just sent me out to get some pizzas, man, like you want some? It's like, no, Dean, leave. But like eventually, like he just comes back. The final time he comes back, he's just in a Mountie outfit, and he's just like, it's just like, Dean, you can't keep coming back here. Like I will suspend you if you keep doing this. And he's like, okay, I understand. And he starts walking away. It's like, hold up, Dean, come back. I have to ask, why are you dressed as a Mountie? And he just looks at him and goes, because the Mountie always gets his man. I think Mayo Monkey's some of the slurs are really funny. Mayo Monkey is really funny. I can say that as a white person. I know I'm a bit swarthy, but that's because I'm tanned. It's summer, chat. But that one is just funny. Like, it's just, I've never met a white person who's offended by Mayo Monkey, because when they hear it, they're just like, what? They're just like, oh, that's just silly. Vanilla Gorilla is also a really funny one. I like that one because the rhyme. It's fun when they rhyme. Ooh. And Twitch, I'm white, so I can say these words. It's okay. I don't know if that's still part of Twitch's rules, but I'm assuming it is. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hold on, let's see here. Still pissing off Twitch. Banned me for calling Shinji. Yeah, you said that. That is a little weird though. It's because he's not. It's because he's Japanese. You misraced him, dude. Okay. You misgendered his race, bro. That is pretty offensive. Okay. How could you? He's Japanese. You even know your sin, but you don't feel sorry for it. That's the problem, you know? Oh, you just need to confess your sins and say, I'm sorry. And surely they won't put your channel back because it's Twitch and they don't actually care. But, you know, be sorry. Be sorry for your sins, my child. My child. Ooh. It's been a year. Ooh, it's been years and I will never forget them. Yeah, they were a little more persnickety on terms like that a few years back. Honestly, moderation on Twitch has kind of laid back a little. Watch this get banned now. It's a little more laid back now. It's still like horrendous. But in the past, like, you could just get banned and they would just not give you an excuse. I mean, they usually don't give you an excuse now, but it somehow was worse, which is remarkable. Ooh. That's true. He did do that at the start. I haven't seen the Evangelion movie because I just didn't really find it necessary, and I didn't really care about Evangelion enough. But my brother has told me it literally opens and closes that way. It's just, apparently it opens with him jorking it, and then he chokes Asuka at the end, and I don't know if he jorks it again, but like that might be you could see it as a jorking metaphor, if nothing else. And it's just like, why though? Why? It's like, don't worry about it. It's my art, said the creator. I forget his name. Ooh. It's too avant-garde for us bucking the gaijin chat. We just don't understand. We don't understand his vision. And quite honestly, I don't think I want to understand his vision. Actually, so many people I've been seeing have been going like, oh, what? Okay. Have been going on about how, like, Evangelion, because this is... Nobody knows less about mecha than Evangelion fans. They have seen Evangelion and have watched no other mecha because they're just like, oh, Eva is different from other mecha because the focus isn't on the robots, it's on the characters and like what's around the robots, and like if the robot has a meaning, it's symbolic of something greater. And it's just like, you've just described like 90% of the mecha genre, not real robots, the mecha genre in general. Like, it's all about the characters. Ooh. And if it's about the robot, it's because the robot has like an artificial intelligence in it, and it's a character in and of itself. Like, you have not differentiated it from the rest of the genre at all. But you know, like, when has there ever been a story about like a kid who gets into a giant robot piloted by his father and is mentally traumatized, and the story focuses on that mental trauma? Gundam. The original Gundam literally does that. He is so relatable. Don't say that. He choked a German girl. Like, he has sexual angst towards a girl and he choked her. God damn, I relate to that so hard. Don't say that, bro. Don't admit that. Yeah, there is that shot. He didn't need to show that shot. He shows it happening. We know it happens, but then he's like, hold up, hold up, hold up. I need to have a close-up of his hand covered in his sin. And it's just like, no, you don't. We saw him doing it. You made sure we saw him doing it. We didn't need the confirmation. We didn't need the confirmation of completion. And he's like, no, 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 no. It's my art. You don't understand. I don't understand, and I don't want to understand, in all honesty. Like, you keep saying I don't understand, and I agree. That's a good thing I don't understand. Okay, so let's put this here. Mind you, I don't dislike Eva. I do want to make that perfectly clear. Ooh, I am not a fan of Eva, but I'm just ambivalent towards Eva in general when I watched it. I'm not a fucking hater, though. I will say that. Ooh, if I was a hater, I'd talk about it like how I talk about Gundam Seed. Which is to say, I'd make fun of it incessantly. Well, Evangelion has a lot of interesting and cool stuff about it, though. Then again, so does Seed. I have a meme of Shinji next to Kanye. Fucking hell. They try to ban me on Twitter. Not right now, Kanye. Not right now. Kanye just starts singing his newest album. You know, I listened to that song and I was like, okay, I understand what you're trying to say here, Kanye, but like, Could you have like said it without the, you know, the Hail Hitler part? Could you maybe not have said that part? Like, I understand like what you're trying to say in this part. Okay, you're saying that they say that you say that, and nobody understands. I get that, Kanye. I understand what you're going for here. But maybe literally saying what they say you're trying, like maybe literally doing what they're accusing you of doing isn't the way to go about like proving them wrong. Unless you're trying to prove them right. Kanye, are you off your meds again? I don't want to be rude, Kanye, but I need to ask this. We all have a bit of Sinji in us, and I don't want to have I don't want to have like a pubescent Japanese boy inside me. I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? I don't want that. That's not what I want. Not at all. Ooh. Some are sad, others are confused, and some are me. Those some are me, sorry. Did it? Let's see here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Have you heard the Kanye song Cousin? It's a special. I don't know his titles. I've heard very little of Kanye. My brother could tell you more. My brother knows Kanye. He knows Kanye songs. Ooh, he can like break down like his earlier tracks and like the meanings behind them and the reasons they were made. Because my brother is interested in rap. I just don't care about rap. Ooh. But I do like listening to my brother tell me about rap because he's very interested in it himself, and I'm like, that's pretty cool, bro. I'm not going to retain any of this information, but I'm going to listen as though I am going to retain this information. I want to try and do a 10-hour evaluation of Shinji hospital scene to justify... Ooh. Sorry. Scenes to justify them, but I can't even find a single excuse for it. Ooh. I don't think it is meant to be excusable, to be fair. Jesus, okay, well, it's about cousin loving, it sounds like. Okay, well, interesting choice, Kanye. I would say you do you, but how about no? Okay. Ooh. By the way, I forgot to mention, in the lower left-hand corner, we have a finished Airy. Jesus Christ, that was bad. We have a finished Airy right here. Ooh, yesterday, last stream, it wasn't filled in yet, but I filled in Airy, chat. I filled her up. No, I shaded her in. There we go. Wait a minute. Roll it back. Ooh, this is my friend. I filled her up. Wait a minute. I love filling in my friends. Wait. Ooh. Aries very, very busy, sadly, is the issue. Ooh. I've tried to get her to stream more, and I do my best to get her to stream more, but I also don't try to, like... I do my best also not to push her. Ooh, I do my best to encourage her, which is a bit of a tricky situation. But behind the scenes, I always encourage her the best I can. That's why I always try to do collabs with her. Because if she can't stream on her own, then I will at least do my best to provide somewhere where she can stream. Because a big problem is that she has a very, very poor laptop, and she probably won't like me saying this, but she has a very poor laptop, and she just refuses to get a new frickin' laptop. Ooh. Her laptop just crashes. It's just an old laptop that crashes. Ooh, clip it. Clip it and ship it. Ooh. But it's just... Yeah, she just... I don't know why. I have, like, encouraged her to make, like, a fundraising stream for a new laptop. I have tried, and she doesn't like the idea of other people helping her, which I very much relate to. But at the same time, especially, particularly financially, I mean, helping her. But at the same time, it's like, Eri, you need a functional computer. You can't have a computer that just randomly crashes because it's like 8 years old and it's a gaming laptop that she doesn't even... Holy shit. She doesn't even know how memory works on a computer. Can we just talk about this for a moment? Because I was watching a stream yesterday where Eri appeared on a friend's birthday stream. And Eri let it be known that she doesn't know how memory on a computer works. Her computer, she freed up 100 gigabytes of space on her computer. And she was so proud of herself that she called over her brother and was like, look, I have 300 units of spare space on my computer now. And you might be like, wait, Merrick, you just said she cleared 100 units, like 100 gigabytes. How does she now have 300? Because, chat, she has a 400 gigabyte like hard drive on her laptop, which isn't a lot, to be honest. That's not a lot at all, even for a laptop nowadays. But she has 400 gigabytes, and when she saw that she had 100 gigabytes free, the bar is filled in with 300 gigabytes. She thought the filled in part of the bar that says you have 300 meant she had open 300 gigabytes. She thought she had available 300 gigabytes. And it's just like, how do you misread that? But, you know, somehow she finds a way. Ooh. I'm trying to figure this out. Oof. Okay, well that's not coming apart ever again. Good to know. Yeah, I made sure I got a new computer before I started streaming myself. Computer and model and setup, and I have everything but a computer and a model. I'm trying to make sure I can do it right. Thing is, don't over-calculate is one piece of advice I'd give. What the hell is this for? Wait a minute. That's concerning. Uh-oh. Don't over-calculate. You don't need, like, the greatest computer in the world. You just need a functional computer. Like, I mean, this isn't cheap, but my computer's, like, $2,000. Like, some people think they have to have, like, a $5,000 computer or some shit to, like, start streaming, even if they're not VTubing. No, I just have, for me, no, just a 2,000 was enough. It gets the job done. If you bought a 2,000 today, it would be better than what I have, because this is like a 2-year-old computer. Ooh. Like, one thing I just would definitely give recommendation is just don't over-analyze, don't overthink it. Oh, wait a minute. Please. 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 Okay. So then, wait. Oh. Ah, neat. Your mom is the same way as Tech? Like, I consider myself to be one of the most... I thought I was the most tech illiterate person I knew. I genuinely believed myself to be the most tech illiterate person I knew, chat. Until yesterday, where she said that, and I was like, wow. I have been dethroned. She has dethroned me, and she doesn't even know she did it. Ooh, I just got BTFO'd by Eri, and she has no idea she did it. I mean, how... That's just impressive. Like, I used to be proud of that, you know? But no, I got outdone. Speaking of freaking dark reflections, half the time I sometimes feel like when I look at Eri, it's a dark reflection. Though somewhat in a good way. Ooh. That's because sometimes we're really on the similar wavelength about things. And with a lot of people, I kind of overthink things. But with Eri, I can literally just go... I can kind of just like figure out like her wavelength a lot better than other people. It's weird. I don't know why. But I reckon a $1,200 computer is probably enough for what I need. But buying a model, I have no clue. You can just start with a PNG, in all honesty. I know I have, well, right now I have a PNG, but I know like I have kind of a fancy model and whatnot, but that was more for private reasons of like having a... I made a larger commitment to like starting VTubing just so I had that commitment. It's more like a psychological anchor for me, but other people don't need to do that. You can just start out with like a PNG if that's what's best for you. You can start out with a model that you're working on and improving over time. And what am I doing wrong here? Oh god, I have to figure out which ones go where. Wonderful. Ooh. But a lot of people think that they just have to jump into like a $2,000 model or something. This wasn't a $2,000 model, by the way. Well, this is a PNG. This cost me, I don't know, you made it. It cost me like, I don't even know if I commissioned this or I just asked Atya to make it, in all honesty. This cost me like $30 at most, the PNG. But the model didn't cost $2,000. Some people think they have to get some expensive model. If you want a model, just find an artist you like, and provided they're not like some kind of exclusive high-end model list, they're probably going to be affordable. Take your time. Ooh. But don't be afraid to get a PNG and like work your way through making a character. Work your way through figuring out how you want your character to be set up and proportioned, and that's why it wasn't going on, because I was putting the wrong piece in the wrong spot. Today my mother was asking why there was texting. What? Oh, why the IRS? Why is the IRS trying to get my personal information? Don't they already have it? Yes, they do, and that's not the IRS, Mom. Ooh. One of my favorite qualities about myself is I am unironically... I don't want to say I'm too incompetent to swindle. I'm just really incompetent. And, like, if you message me, I'll just be like, I don't know you. And I just won't respond. It'll just be... I've gotten messages that have been like, oh, hey, the government really needs, like, oh, government notice, like, you need to do this. And I'm like... If the government wanted me to do something, they wouldn't email me. They don't have my email. They'd send it to me through the mail. Like, they don't know me. They don't know my they don't know my Gmail account. Fucking piss off. Ooh, I could totally do a PNG. I forgot about that. I am relatively skilled with art. Oh, an artiste. Probably average at best, but so that. Yeah, I actually need to, speaking of art, I need to finish... That's, Okay, hold up. This is not aligning correctly, and I don't know why. I need to finish tomorrow's thumbnail for the King in Yellow. I went through, like, 3 sheets of paper, just figuring out, like, how to do it, how I want to, like, have it set up. I need to do this off-screen real quick, because I just don't know what I'm doing wrong here. This is really pissing me off. But for the King in Yellow, I went through like 3 sheets of paper only to end up with my original concept, but redrawn at a slightly different angle. Ooh, which is my favorite part of art when you're trying to composite a shot with multiple characters. I want a model that is just simple. One outfit, no moving parts, but it's the standard rigging, eyes, okay. You can definitely do that if you just want to, body up, because there's full body models and there's half body models and then there's bust models, and bust models just mean, you know, like a statue bust. It means from the shoulders up. If you just want the shoulders up, you can commission that from artists, and those are very, very affordable usually. Like maybe a few $100s at most. I don't think I've ever seen a bust commission that's over $1,000, in all honesty. A torso model, one that cuts off at the hips, will get you maybe... Hold up, I just realized I don't have this part on. A torso model will cost you maybe around $1,000, while a full model can cost you like $1,500. Give me 1 minute. Damn it. I need to put this piece on before I forget. But to get it on, I have to squeeze this closed. I send a captivated head images and text. Ooh. Yeah. There we go. There we go. I always like to say, though, important thing in VTubing, people always say having a schedule is the most important thing, but I think the important thing is consistency. And by consistency, I don't mean streaming every day or streaming certain things. I mean just being able to, every time you do stream, have a consistent voice, have a consistent personality. So that way when they come back to you another time, they know what to expect. They're not surprised by a different personality when they come back later. I feel like that's one of the most important things. Because as long as it's consistent, they always know they can come back to the same thing. A lot of people are like, oh, like you need to have a schedule or something. That's part of consistency, but a lot of people, they don't do great with schedules. Like, I cannot long-term do a schedule because long-term I cannot keep to certain times because of either personal things coming up in my life or because it's just like psychologically draining. At different times of the year, I suffer from like twilight sundowning or some crap like that. And I just can't stream at certain times because of that. That's why Stream Today had to start later. Early in the week, Mondays and Tuesdays, I can't stream between 8:30 and 9:30. Ooh, which might seem really specific, but it's just, I can't stream at that time. So I have to stream a lot later these days. While later in the week, like Fridays, I can stream starting as early as 5 o'clock if I want to. So you also just need to know your own personal circadian rhythm and schedule and when psychologically you're best to go, when you are most ready to do things. Ooh, I had to figure that out live, which took a while to do. B29. I was looking right at it like an idiot. Commission shoulder up. Ooh. Well, I mean, I'm working on, as I've called it, the 0.5 model, which is kind of a regression because it won't be as high quality as my current model. But I've been wanting to make my own model. I know, and I'll probably ask the people who I do know who rig models for advice, like Atya Tepis. She's not only her own model artist, but her own model rigger. So she would be a good resource for me to ask. And one of the biggest things in VTubing is just not being afraid to ask and reach out to people. Ooh. Of course, it's best to get to know somebody through their chat or through interactions before DMing them, of course. But sometimes, DMing somebody out of the blue can be oddly successful, though I would not recommend it. Oh god. There's always exceptions, like how I befriended Aerie was because last year she was contemplating whether or not she wanted to have a second go at VTubing with her current persona. And I just DM'd her hey, I just DM'd her that like people do want to watch her, people are excited for her to stream more, and if need be, like we could do a collab. Like I pretty much set up like doing a collab as a joke, and she was like, oh yeah, we can collab, and I was like, oh. I would say don't expect that. Don't expect, you know, that being successful. For me, it was kind of just like, I wanted to get the attention. So like, as like a joke, I wanted her like to notice. So that way she would like like I pretty much did like self-deprecating humor to get her to laugh effectively. And the part of the self-deprecating humor was the collab. The collab itself was part of the joke. And she was like, oh no, we can actually do that. And I was like, oh, well, I guess we can collab then. Ooh, it's just funny how life works out. Blessed enough to have more free time than most people. My goal is to debut this year. I hope that goes well. If you're getting a full body model, that's actually going to be difficult because a model takes at minimum like 3 to 4 months to make. So, but that's a full body model. If you're doing a chest up model, that can probably be done a little quicker. Mind you, most of the work is still going to be in the face for rigging and whatnot, but in art wise, it's going to be a lot quicker to get a face done than anything else. Ooh. Getting a bust and or shoulder, depending on what you want to call it, shouldn't take too long. But you also don't want to sleep on it. If you want a good resource for a custom model, if you do want to buy a custom model, VGen has a lot of good artists who are available and who regularly rotate their availability, who you can find, you know, their works ready to be commissioned, you know, if not this month, the next month when they reopen commissions because they're currently busy. Ooh. There's also other resources. Powerline's actually got his model. I don't know how much he paid for it, but he got his model actually from a Japanese store. Ooh, from a Japanese online store. His model actually came from a Japanese artist, and we both suspect his artist was into boy love. Because his model... Ooh. Sorry, not into boy love. We both suspect his model was made by a woman, because his model's eyelashes and like certain features of his model come across more as like feminine touch. That's neither here nor there. Ooh, is this something I noticed? And he was like, yeah, I think so too. I plan to just put a chest on the model. Don't like yeah, if, a lot of models, a lot of the times you are just from the chest up. If you can get a reference image, like the only reason to have a full model is for reference, but you can just have a reference image for that instead. Ooh, you can just have a character sheet instead of having a full character. Isn't it? Like my character is usually from the chest up. Now sometimes the degree of how much he's from the chest up might vary, but very rarely am I like full on screen. Very, very rarely. Ooh. VGen is actually how I found my model artist, because I wanted somebody who had more of a Western touch, because I wanted a more East meets West art style. So I really, really took time to find somebody who could provide that. Because I wanted the character model to be based on the idea of be the American the Japanese think you are. Was kind of the joking idea with the character design. Kind of a shame that while talking about all this, I have to use the PNG though. But ooh, can we please get that out? Thank you. There we go. Let's get back to this. Oh my god. Talking about Gundam during a Gunpla stream, unheard of. But I actually do have a Gundam topic, and it's actually about somebody who I had to mute on Twitter because they just had god-awful takes about Gundam. Like, they weren't the worst takes, but they were, like, really arrogant about their takes and really cocksure about their takes, so it just became insufferable. But I want to talk about it because in comparison to, there's this guy on Twitter named Himmel who's just been watching, like, all the Gundam series, and it's just, he's been engaging with it and understanding the Gundam series, and it's just, I'm sitting there going, this guy isn't, like, doing super deep analysis, but he's demonstrating that to understand Gundam isn't rocket science. It's not the most difficult thing in the world. Ooh. And it made me think of this one guy who literally could not analyze Gundam accurately to save his life, named Bohemond. Ooh. Because this guy, every time Gundam Wing was brought up, all he could do is hate on it. And he'd call it like he'd call it the Fujoshi Gundam, which it's not. Gundam Seed is the Fujoshi Gundam. However, even Gundam Seed is not purely Fujoshi bait, because Gundam Seed is actually it's kind of like the prepubescent Gundam. It is designed for maximum appeal to like preteens of both boys and girls. Because the boys, you have that rivalry between the two main characters. It's like Naruto and Sasuke. Boys love that shit. They eat it up. But for the girls, it has like a love triangle every 5 episodes. There's a new love triangle. Girls eat that shit up. It's the prepubescent Gundam, which if you grew up with Gundam Seed, is really cool. If you didn't grow up with Gundam Seed, like me, or you just don't remember it, actually I did grow up with it, but I just don't remember it, it's like, I don't care. Ooh. But like that's the Fujo Gundam Seed, because that's the one actually actively trying to engage people for that. Trying to engage the audience for the Fujo bait with, you know, all the love triangles and, you know, the tension between the characters. The Fujo bait in Gundam Wing is incidental. It's accidental. It's not there by design. It's there by design in Seed. Oh, I have my sister hearing me yelling at Gunpla. What? Ooh, I need to get some Gunpla, but I don't have what it... Ooh. What? Your hands get steadier with time. It's like painting. Your muscle. It's because you don't have the fine control muscles. So you kind of have like you have the more broad stroke muscles in your hand. So like your fine-tuned muscles just aren't fine-tuned effectively. Your more steady hand isn't steady because you don't work those muscles, because it's also independent muscles that let you let you have a steady hand. And just like, you know, with, you know, grip training or with you know, wrist curls, just like for those to work the higher muscles, simply working and just being in control, your hands will get that fine motor control more and more, the more and more you do it. Ooh. It's just by exposure. My hands were very shaky, even though I draw, my hands were very shaky when I first did Gunpla, but also you just learn how to prop your hand. Like, a lot of times my hand is right now propped on the desk. You know, my hand is still propped on the desk here. Like, I'm not, and when I free cut it, I have better hand control, because over time, you just get that. You get better and better. It's just really just over time. And really, you don't have to worry about shaky hands with modern kits, because unless you are, you know, Back to the Future guy, you're, you know, Jamie Lee Fox or whatever, isn't it? No, not Jamie Lee Fox. Unless you're like whoever Fox, you know, unless you gotta get back in time. Ooh. Unless you have Parkinson's disease, you shouldn't. Your hands will get better. Unless you have Parkinson's disease. If you have Parkinson's disease, then you're kind of shit out of luck. Your hands are shaky, possibly because of neurological problems from medication, I think. Okay, even when idle, you see, that might be different. Huh? Huh? You know, I keep forgetting that there's a 7-Eleven Gunpla. The brand crossovers in Japan are amazing. There we go. There we go. And okay, so I need to put this on. Let me give this a gander to figure out what goes where. Okay, I need to put this on first, and then I put this on because this aligns with this. And I need to bend the leg. There we go. And I need to get this one out. Bend the leg, Merrick. There you go. What am I doing wrong? I have it upside down like a doofus. There we go. There we go. Well, that's just a depressing poem. Why is that in the topics page? Why is that there? I was reading something and I was like, is this a riddle? That would be fun to share. And I was like, oh no, this is a depressing poem. Oh, there's nothing fun about that. God. George Lucas naming conventions. The Emperor's name. He's a puppet master, a cunning planner. He uses prescience to foresee and guarantee his victories. Truly insidious. That's it. I have it. Ooh. God, literally Darth Sidious. It's just Insidious without the IN. Darth Vader. It's just Invader without the IN. Okay, I think people trying to make the names way more complicated. Oh, it's German for no. It's Dark Invader. That's the name. That's Darth Vader's name. It's meant to be Dark Invader. He is the Dark Invader. He's all in black and he goes around invading places. He's the Dark Invader. You're putting way too much credit on George Lucas, thinking that like he's, you know, some kind of mastermind, that he like looked up German and was like, yes, father, because he's, you know, Luke's fallen father. He's Luke's dark no, you are thinking way more than George Lucas ever thought about this. Stop it. I can guarantee you. And if George Lucas came out and said like, oh yeah, that's what I intended, he's lying. I'm just gonna be frank with you, he's lying. Ooh. Okay, there's the same guy who was like, yes, you know, this aristocrat who became, you know, a Sith Lord. This Count Dooku, what would his name be? Well, he was an aristocrat who became a Sith Lord. Ah, Darth Tyrannus. Okay, George. This Sith assassin who is known for his brutal and, you know, forward attacking methods. You know, he's known for mauling his enemies. Aha! Darth Maul. Oh my god, it's not that complicated. It really isn't. I love Lucas. Boy, you need to be honest. We need to stop acting like it's some kind of rocket science. That everything else is simple and straightforward, but those were the things that, you know, he went to a goddamn English, he went to a German encyclopedia to get those names. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. We need to be honest. George Lucas is like a simplistically clever fellow, which is what he needed to be. Ooh, he was an idea man, not an execution dude. Ooh, he's an idea man, which is good when he had people around him to help him out. And I appreciate it. And you know what? He's still a better idea man than most of the people in Hollywood. But idea men need people to, like, you know, kind of rein them in. They need people, you know, to be there to kind of, you know, give them a second opinion, give them a second look on things. Ooh. Because, you know, an idea man, he can run away with his ideas. You know, they can get away from him, and he can, you know, lose track of things because he's so passionate about his ideas. And I would not hold that against him. But at the same time, it does still have some negative consequences. I feel like people give him too much credit for, like, knowing things in... I think he did know by Empire Strikes Back, in all honesty. And he might be like, but that's the one where they kiss. Yes, but if you look at the context of the kiss, they don't kiss romantically. Leia literally gives Luke a peck because she's just upset at Han Solo for pretty much being a chauvinist, or, like, not a chauvinist, for, like, she just wants to get at, like, Han Solo. So her kissing Luke is more narratively important, not for her relationship with Luke, but relationship with Han Solo. Luke is just the closest person to kiss, so she kisses Luke to, like, show that, you know, she'd rather kiss Luke than him. It's more of that is the situation there than her giving any care who Luke is. Who, of course, like, the characters didn't know, but what I'm saying is, at that point, I do believe George Lucas did have that planned, but in A New Hope, absolutely, I don't believe he had that planned, okay? In A New Hope, do I think that he had Darth Vader being Luke's father planned? You'd have to show me notes that were like, you'd have to show me an outline that was planned, that came out, that is archived before the release of A New Hope for me to believe it. Because even that, I'm skeptical towards that. Ooh. Han Solo was nice. Ooh. And some things he was kind of playing fast and loose with, like with Han Solo's sacrifice. He was like, will Han Solo die? I don't know. And he was like, no. He decided in the end, no, I don't want Han Solo to die. Ooh. He was like, because if Han Solo died, though, to be honest, Han Solo couldn't die in a scene, because the whole point of the Han Solo scene is that Vader needs a way to transport Luke. I'm trying to figure this out real quick. Needs a way to transport Luke, which is why he wants to use the carbon freezing, because it's to transport Luke to the Emperor. And if Han Solo dies, then Darth Vader doesn't have that method to, you know, transport Luke anymore, which means that the fight in the carbon freezing chamber, the duel between Luke and Vader in the carbon freezing chamber, now doesn't make any sense, because there's no reason for Vader to start that duel there. In fact, it's a bad idea for him to start there, because now if Luke falls into the carbon freezing chamber, that could kill Luke if the carbon freezing chamber is deadly. So Han Solo, for that part of the story, has to survive, or they'd have to change the setting of the battle. I know that's a little bit meta and boring, but I just kind of realized that for the story, Han Solo ended up having to live, even though George Lucas was amicable to him dying, and Harrison Ford wanted, for some reason. I don't know why Harrison Ford wanted Han Solo to die, but he really, really wanted Han Solo to die for some reason. I don't know why I don't know why Harrison Ford is such a bitter person in acting. Why he hates half the roles he does. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand Harrison Ford as a person. Harrison Ford confuses me, and I don't really have interest in understanding what's going on with him because it's just tiresome. Ooh. Yeah, these are not going. I'm not putting these in correctly, but I'm getting tired and I'm getting impatient. I can fix them later. Mantra of any Gunpla building. I can fix it later. You look piece of. No wonder it's not going in correctly. Okay. Actually, I have to redo these. Oh no, I put these ones in correctly. It's these ones I was getting incorrect. Okay, so... Not that one. This one goes here. There are pieces I have to line up, but I can't see them getting lined up. And this kit already has a really peculiar relationship with like lining pieces up. It's just a little bothersome that it persists to have that issue. As a perfectionist, I feel Gunpla would drive you insane, and they're not that complex. Ooh. Only if like you customize your kits. Ooh, but like in all honesty, you just follow what the instructions tell you, and you'll get there. What pisses me off is the fact that this is really tight. This is nice and tight. This little bastard's really loose. Oh, you go here. No. Gun. Can I put this on without... I would like to put this on without having to take off the armor completely. But I also don't want to break the armor. We have a compromise, maybe. Okay. We got this. We got this. We got this. We got it. Oh, I'm gonna have to put on that knee armor. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tighten that joint. It's a little surprising I'm gonna have to do that in a master grade. Kind of disappointing, actually. I had my thumb on the piece, so it was not going to be separated. Bit silly of me. And chat, where is... There it is. This goes here. That's upside down, Merrick, you dumb little fool. Come on, Merrick, you can do it. You can, come on. It's a fitted piece. You can figure it out there, buddy. You can figure it out, Merrick. Come on. You can do it, Merrick. There you go, Merrick. Okay. I quit Lego because they made me so irrationally mad. Wait, what? You smacked your head against the wall and the wall got a hole? Oh, what? How did Lego piss you off that much? The hell's going on with Lego to piss you off enough to fucking headbutt a wall? What's going on there, buddy? What were you building? You're building like the Death Star scale model or something? Let's get this. And this. What time are we at? We are at... Oh wow, how did we get to 240 already? Okay. I expected this to be a 3-hour stream. I'm still a little disappointed that I was correct in that expectation. One of those things. Not good. That gets cut. 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 Ooh. No, not the Master Grade 3.0. It's the Master Grade for Gundam the Origin. Ooh. So I think that actually makes it newer than the 3.0. I'm not really sure. But it's the Gundam the Origin Master Grade. And let me get the pieces that we have assembled on here so you can see how much we're pretty much done. Ooh, we just have to do the weapons left, really. You're bad at making Lego. Let's take it one piece at a time, my dude. I put that over the instructions like a fool. Oh, there's a polycap. I feel like you'd just lose it all if you tried to do a Gunpla. I think you're overestimating the complexity of Gunpla. I mean, sure, I mess up at it, but that's because I'm a little foolish boy. I'm a little dummy. I'm a little piece of toast. My mind is toasted. I forgot to open VTube Studio before stream. I mean, that's how silly I am. You know, the one thing that makes me a VTuber, I forgot to open up before stream. Oh. Yeah, it's really good quality kit. I accidentally broke the hand, but I hear that the hand's kind of easy to break anyways, but this pinky is loose and falls out. And as you can see, he's missing a finger. I still have it. I just have to thicken the joint. I think I can repair it mostly, but I might just have to get a replacement for those pieces, in all honesty. It's a really cool kit so far, and it's actually... The reason I got it is because the high grade for the RX-78 from Gundam the Origin is, from my experience, the best high grade RX-78, and there's a lot of RX-78 high grades, but it is the best RX-78 high grade that I've built. And so when I saw the master grade, I was like, okay, this is the RX-78 master grade that I'm going to get. Because if the master grade is as good as the high grade, I will not be disappointed. And I have not been disappointed. It's a really good kit. Ooh. Oh my goodness. I don't think I have the zombie Verka. Oh shit, no, I do have that. I need to build that. I think I actually do have it. I was about to say I have the real grade that I need to build, but I need to build both the real grade and the Verka. Let's get this all up here. Ooh. Well, that's a little loose. Okay, that might be... Ah! Okay, can we not? Can we not? Ooh. Oh, it caused me so much headache that those bastards made me realize it. Oh my god. Okay, maybe if you're struggling with Bionicle, maybe you are too much of a perfectionist. I don't wanna be that guy, but ooh. I like to call Bionicle, like, you know, the entry, like, to be, you know, the entry grade for Americans. God, that's great proportions on him. And I made some mistakes that I can clean up later, but, like, also the panel lining, I'm really happy with how it turned out for the most part. Especially right here with these lines right here. It looks so nice. Ooh. That's pretty cool that it comes with his cockpit that comes out of the head of the zombie. The Nightingale has that molded in, but it's way too small proportionate, like in the proportions. Like if you can open up the top of the head of the Nightingale high grade, but like the, wait, let me double check actually. Nightingale? Can you give a pal? It's a little small. The cockpit, the deployable cockpit on the Nightingale is like really tiny for some reason. But I bet it is. The real grade I also heal is really cool for the Sazabi. I'm really excited to build them both when I can get to it. I'm not 100% sure I have the Verka Sazabi, but I know for a fact I have the real grade. I got a Verka of something that I didn't expect to get. I think it was the Sazabi, but you think I would know, but I have a very big backlog. Ooh. This is a beautiful kit. Ooh, and I cannot wait for him to be the first kit on my new display shelf. Wonderful feet that I should have done better at panel lining, but ooh, feet for free chat. I ordered the Nightingale online because it was like a birthday present to myself. I wanted to find it in the wild, but only very special like circumstances will I buy something online, and that was one of them. Its box is so big. Its box is actually right next to the perfect grade Zaku box, which is still in its box. It's bigger than the perfect grade. It's bigger than a perfect grade box. The Nightingale box is comically massive, and I kept it because it's so big. It sits on the top of a bookshelf, taking up the entire top. It's a wonderful little kit. Also, my favorite kit, my favorite high grade by far, is the Nightingale. Haven't got the RG yet. Ooh. God, actually, I got my RG like last year because the hobby shop just ordered a bunch of Zazabis. Like they just ordered like not 20. Well, actually no, I think they ordered like 20 Zazabis. They were all gone in a month. All of them were just gone within a month, and it's just like, damn. That was a good investment by them just to buy a crap load of Zazabis for the holiday season. Ah, it's because your hands were so shaky that you didn't. So your hands have been shaky for a while. Damn, man. Holy crap, those are really big beam sabers. And they're the lighter pink, like the. I forget what it's called. Don't wait, like the new Gundams. It's a light pink like the new Gundams instead of the darker pink. Ah, I do have the Psycho Gundam. I don't want to get the Psycho Gundam out right now. We built that last year for Halloween. But I have the Psycho Gundam Mark II, and we're going to build that in October this year. Or if you vote for it in the Big Boy poll, which I don't know when that's going to happen. But in a later poll, it might be on a poll before October. But we do have the... we do already have the Psycho Gundam, which I might get out. I don't want to, but I might get it out for size comparison, because it's as big... It's like... I think it's a few millimeters shorter than a perfect grade, so it's effectively a perfect grade comparison, because it's almost the size of one. Yeah, the Psycho Gundam 2 is double Zeta. The Psycho Gundam is Zeta Gundam. I actually prefer the Psycho Gundam 2 design because I always found the Psycho Gundam, it's just a really tall black Gundam with Zeong fingers, which is cool, but at the same time it didn't feel like the most creative design choice to me. But when we finish these weapons, which hopefully won't take long... when we finish these weapons, we can get out the Psycho Gundam, because I actually want to see how big it is compared to a Master Grade, because I don't think I've done that comparison yet. Hands have been shaky for the for at least half your life. Oof. That's sad to hear. That's rough to hear, my man. Yeah, as you said earlier, it's just like, it's just pill, it's just, you know, them pill swapping on you, and it just, ooh, certain concoctions create bad solutions in your brain. I don't know what you're asking exactly, but the Psycho Gundam itself, the high grade for the Psycho Gundam is, the Psycho Gundam is 40 meters, and in high grade proportions, 1/44 scale, that ends up being almost the exact same height when you build the kit. It's almost the same size in total as a perfect grade. As a perfect grade RX-78, for example. It's like just a few like millimeters shorter. I think it might be a centimeter shorter at most. If you're talking about the box for the Nightingale, though, the box for the Nightingale is just massive. It's bigger than a perfect grade Zaku box. It's really massive. The Nightingale is just a silly little boy. It's a fun build though. Favorite build I've ever done. I built it because I asked a friend, actually I asked Ariel Lulu, who's a friend of the channel, what should I build? And she was like, I like that one. And I was like, do you know anything about this one? And she's like, it's red. And I was like, okay. Ooh. I'll try to get the, we'll skip the rocket launcher. I want to build the shoulder cannon. And, oh, there's two different beam rifles. I'm gonna build the shield, a beam rifle. Well, I'm gonna build some stuff. I don't know how much we're gonna build, but I want to get to the size comparison sooner rather than later. Because I also have a Char Zaku perfect grade. I just kind of want to see it because that's a little bit older, the Zaku 2 perfect grade. Dude, it has such a big butt. It's very funny. It's very cool though if you actually compare it to the Nightingale, and you can see how almost everything on it is an exaggeration of the Nightingale. Which actually I did when we built it. I just broke down piece by piece. From like the feet to the head, every piece that is just from the Zazabi, but just made into a caricature. Made into like, just made super exaggerated. It's really interesting actually on a design level. I will freely say. I don't know what this is for. This is for the shoulder cannon. We need this. We need this beam rifle parts. You are for this. We need G. We need G1. That's for the shoulder cannon. Thank God these are like old sprue cutters. Oof. But I feel terrible for the sounds that these are making, because those might be satisfying for you on stream. But for me, that means I'm just destroying these sprue cutters, but they're already broken, so it's fine. One day I will continue Gundam X. One day. But I need to finish Gurren Lagann for Men's Mental Health Month first. Ooh. Let's see here. I need to lead by example. Gurren Lagann's so good. Ooh. There it is. We're not doing Gurren Lagann, we're doing Gundam. We're doing the other one about, you know, a kid piloting a giant robot and getting traumatized and overcoming his trauma. Ooh, unless his name is Char. That guy never overcomes his trauma. He's always tied down by gravity. Funny story, the first and only perfect grade I have is You broke in a week? Oh no! That's not funny, that's sad. I say while laughing. You're gonna go? Have a great night, Switch. Have a great night. Ooh, sorry that you couldn't stay up for the size comparison. It's nearing 11 p.m. where you are. Well, you're in like 2 time zones different than me. Well, that makes sense. You're in like Idaho. Sleep well, 100% lay in bed listening to music. Feeling. You have a nice night yourself, Switch. You have fantastic dreams. Ooh, and may be fully rested in tomorrow morning. It was a B-Day present. Oh my god. My brothers, I will never forgive them for this, but they decided to start destroying my Legos when I like was a kid for no apparent reason. It always made me upset. Like for a summer, they just decided to destroy all my Legos one by one. And one of the Legos they destroyed was the clone turbo tank, which took me 3 days to build. And it's such a giant, like 8-wheeled people mover. Ooh. It's like an APC on super steroids, because that's what it is. And they broke it, and then I literally put it back together, and they broke it again. And like, I will always be pissed off at them for that. They also I don't know what they did, but they like got rid of my freaking Boba Fett minifigure. Literally my favorite EU character, my favorite minifigure I had, and they freaking destroyed him or something. That's also something I will always hold against them. Little bastards. Ooh. God, that is such a clean minifigure. Okay, well, I just realized I'm starting to crash out a little. I'm getting to the point last week. My vision isn't failing like last week, but I can tell within the next half hour my vision is going to start failing. So, we're going to finish this gun. We're going to put together the shield. We're not going to put together the shoulder cannon on stream, because as last stream showed, I should not continue building when my brain is literally collapsing in on itself. Oh my god, I had 2 older brothers, and they were kind of a-holes for the most part, but they're pretty cool now. We like each other now. Favorite people in the world now are my 2 older brothers. But because they were closer in age to one another than they were to me, so that just means I was the odd one out growing up between the 3 of us. And they were just kind of a-holes about it. Oh. And it wasn't like a massive age difference. It wasn't like they were like a year apart and I was like... It wasn't like they were a year apart and I was like 5 years apart. It wasn't like one of those. It was like they were a year apart and I was 2 years apart. But that was enough for them to be like, well, you're too far away from us, you loser. Ooh, which nipper? If you mean these nippers, the nippers that are really old and worn out, they are not in the best condition, and I made sure to paint them pink because that way I can always make sure I'm using the correct ones. These ones are also starting to age a little, and you can see there's like, I don't even think that's rust. I think that's just like, it probably is rust, but these ones are also getting a little old. But these ones I never use, the God Hands, and they're still in pretty good condition. Ooh. Yeah, but these nippers are literally just, they broke. They don't even have a spring in them, as you can see. There's no spring, which makes them very dangerous to use, actually, because if my hand is ever on it like this, and I close it, that'll pinch my skin and hurt like you wouldn't believe. Ooh, especially if it's like right here, it can pinch, and it hurts so bad. So whenever I hold it, I have to make sure that my hand is well out of the way, which has actually made it so I have a better grip for when I build Gunpla. That's actually helped me in the long run. I haven't nipped myself in a while, and I'm kind of surprised, in all honesty. I say nipped like it's the blade hitting me. I haven't pinched myself in a while, and I'm kind of surprised because when I nip, when I'm doing it, my hand is like right here. Like I was like saying like, oh yeah, you should have your hand back here because it's a better place to have your hand. No, my hand's like still right here. It's just that if it was right here, then I'd be nipping myself. I am doing the bare minimum not to hurt myself, which is pretty typical. G30, G31, da, da. What a great build. Ooh. I wish we could finish, I wish I could do the rest of it on stream. Like the rest of the weapons, that is. But as I said, I know my limits. And I do not want to do another build where my vision is failing me. Because then that gets really slow. Go figure, when your right eye stops working, and you're just like, well, crap, I can't use that eye anymore, and then it just turns back on, but then your left eye stops working. It's like, okay, well, your brain starts playing musical chairs with your eyes. It's not fun. It might be like, why were you streaming like that last week? Because I wanted to build, and I was very tired. And my brain, after 10 o'clock at night, does not process melatonin properly. Early in the day, if the sun is out, my brain can process melatonin and tell me I'm tired. But after 10 o'clock at night, my brain stops receiving melatonin, stops interpreting melatonin as me being tired. And I have no idea why. And no doctor really knows why either. Kind of weird. I say it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that my brain doesn't do a basic function that it's supposed to, chat. Just a little. That's an old people problem. Thing is, that's been a thing my entire life. The melatonin thing, that's been a thing my entire life. Since I was a child, after 10 o'clock at night, my brain no longer registers melatonin. So, instead of getting tired, my brain will just start shutting down. And it's just, which you think would be horrifying, but when it's just been that's just been what you've had your entire life, you're just like, oh yeah, there goes one eye. Oh, it's back on, but there goes the other eye. Oh, what's that? I can no longer, like, every one word per sentence randomly, I'll just completely be unable to say when my linguistics of my brain just start shutting down. Okay. Again, it's terrifying in concept, but when you've lived with it your entire life, you're just like, okay. Yeah, it is 11. It is 1 o'clock in the morning. That makes sense. I'm a little confused here. Oh, screw you. Okay, this is one of the things I hate when Bandai does it. Because I was like, okay, we're not doing this, we're not doing all of this. That's something I'll do off stream because I realize I'm on a time schedule now with my brain. But it's a booklet, and then they just go, now it has to be folded out. It's evil. It's silly. It's stupid. No, I don't feel tired at all. Not one bit. Well, earlier today, after I went for a walk with my dog and went to the gym, I felt more tired than I do now. And I did not rest after that. I can still go to sleep. I actually have trained myself that whether or not I'm tired or not, I can go to sleep at any time. Ooh, because I need to do that, because that's just how my brain works. But no, right now I have not an ounce of tiredness. Yes, last week, if you go to the stream where my brain was actively shutting down on stream, I was not tired at any part in that stream. And again, I was slurring words. I was slurring words. I would have an eye that would go fuzzy and then it go back into like having vision, like my eye couldn't focus anymore. I wasn't tired at all that entire stream. Even though you could like literally see me over the course of the stream start to crash out and my brain function to start to like peter out throughout that entire stream. At no point did I feel tired. I don't know if I yawned that entire stream. Ooh. It's a very weird medical thing. And I wish I could blame it on, like, you know, the drugs, you know, I was given when growing up. But again, it predates everything. Hello, 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 Kays! We're just talking about how my brain is messed up. Talking about last week's stream. Then you come back here? You might want to make it quick, because we're gonna be doing the size comparisons after I finish the shield. And then we're gonna be ending stream, because I don't want to have a repeat of last week. Because even though it was fun, I also still recognize I shouldn't do that to myself. I don't feel the negative side effects in the moment, because even with my eyes not being able to... I said my eyes would shut down. What actually happens is my eyes can't focus, but only one eye at a time. So one eye will just become fuzzy like a camera that's out of focus, and then it'll refocus. And then the other eye, like 2 minutes later, will do the same thing. Ooh. And again, that's because I'm literally ODing on melatonin. However, again, right now, I'm not drunk on melatonin yet, so I'm still pretty good. And you can tell it's something that's been, is something I've been dealing with my entire life, because how casual I am about the fact that just like, yeah, you know, just like my body, like my brain just starts to shut down by sequence, like I'm, Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like how casual I am about it. It's just like, it's just something that happens. Don't worry about it. McCube. It's your first time watching? Oh, dude, fucking if you want to see more, fucking subscribe and follow along for more, man. Oh god, we are always welcoming to new faces here. But we build Gunpla at the start of every week. Actually, I have to figure out what we're doing next week because we're gonna be done with this. Oh god. Maybe we'll build a ball next week. I have a high-grade balls. That should only take a week to build. We can finish that in like 1 or 2 days. And people love balls. Everyone loves Gundam balls. Ooh. Nobody hates balls. Everybody loves them. I could start the stream with that like AC/DC song, you know, ooh, fucking big balls or whatever, and then, you know, get my channel deleted off the face of the internet. But it'd be really funny for, you know, that one stream. Ooh. The Space Odyssey reference. In 2001: A Space Odyssey, when the AI goes insane, the astronaut has to go into the core of the AI, and he has to pretty much he pretty much has to lobotomize the AI. He has to take out the functions of the AI that allow higher thought, but all the things like life support that the AI is in control of, he has to leave intact. So this very tense scene of him just literally lobotomizing like a self-aware robot. And the robot just is just like, Hal. Sorry. Hal's the robot. The Hal just goes like, Bowman, don't do this, Bowman. I don't want to go to sleep, Bowman. And it's just all delivered in this deadpan voice. And it's just like, and he's just like, Bowman, I feel my reasoning begin to slip, Bowman. And it's just like, and it is like, oh my god. Like, it just conveys that it's like, okay, yeah, like, Bowman has to do this because Hal will kill him if he doesn't. But it's all delivered in this, like, such a blank fashion that you end up feeling for Hal. And it ends with Bowman telling Hal to sing him a song as he's losing, like, cognitive function. And Hal starts singing the first ever song sung by a robot, Daisy Bell, and it's where the audio for Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer too. I'm half Like it just starts distorting as it goes on. Ooh, if you've ever heard that, that's from 2001: Space Odyssey. Ooh, 2001: Space Odyssey is pretty good. To give you the summary, Stanley Kubrick pissed off the United States government by making Doctor Strangelove. Then they hired him to make a propaganda film for the space race. No, I don't know how that happened, but apparently people just really liked him. So he got he got like millions of dollars to make this propaganda movie for the space race. And instead he made a movie about how technology is stupid and we must liberate ourselves from reliance on technology and reach a higher state of consciousness. And somehow he got away with it. It's kind of weird. It's a weird movie. I haven't seen it before, but I like Kubrick a lot. He's a silly Billy. I don't know how he pissed off the United States government and got millions of dollars from him, but at the same time, that just sounds like what the U.S. government would do. But it's a Kubrick classic. It's a guy. It's pretty much It's a movie about the advancement of man. Yeah, that's. You thought I was actually fucking going out with the Daisy Bell song. Ooh. But actually, to better describe, because I didn't really give a good description, to give a good description of 2001 to somebody who has no knowledge of it, it's a movie about the advancement and evolution of man from when we were first ape things to the modern day. Let me make sure this is correct. And it starts off actually with like apes discovering tool usage. And then it goes to goes to the year 2010, which the movie was made in, 2001. And the movie was made in like the 70s, no, the 60s. So the far future of 2001. And the story is about man's reliance on technology and where both the heights it may bring him and the lows it may lead him. And through the story, and it was originally commissioned though as a piece of propaganda by the US government for the space race, but Heinlein just didn't care. It's actually funny because actually never mind, but it's one of the harder Kubrick movies to get into because it's very visual. Like a lot of its themes and whatnot are conveyed visually, not with like dialogue or anything like that. Like it's just a highly visual film. There's long stretches where it's just visuals, for example. So it's not the most easy to get into if you're not used to that. But you might know its memes if you've ever seen people floating around in space or in like low gravity, and you just start hearing the song doot 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 da 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 da. If you've ever seen that in anything, that's a 2001: A Space Odyssey reference. If you've ever seen a robot that just has that is depicted as just in like a, how do I put it? Just like a light on a fixture, effectively. It's just like a, not black, but it's like a light with a little bit of a pin of red in it. And it's and it's just like in a box, and it just goes, and it talks like this. I cannot do that. I cannot do that, John. If you've ever like seen that, that's a 2001: A Space Odyssey reference. Ooh. Ooh, a Friet Jaeger. I didn't even know that there wasn't a Friet Jaeger. Hold up. Okay, remember when I said I'd start crashing out from melatonin? It's not happening per se, but I can see that I'm not reading properly. And I have to reread the same instructions 3 times just to get something done. So Yeah, after we cut off the last piece of the shield, we are going to go to size comparisons immediately. Because that means I'm beginning to get drunk on melatonin. Ooh, if I cannot read, that is a very big symptom of it. And I am not being able to read right now. Wait a minute. There's 5. Oh, there it is. So let us get that. If you're looking into Kubrick, though, you might be better off looking into things like Full Metal Jacket, which is more straightforward, or A Clockwork Orange, which is more straightforward. Okay, come here. How do we equip the shield? How do we put the shield on? This clicks in here. And then this. Come on, come on, come on. Be a good sport. Okay. Okay. And we're not going to bother putting on his last finger right now. Okay. And let us put his... Chat, what is his rifle? There's his beam. Ooh, there's his beam rifle. Okay. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I know he's holding the gun a little awkwardly, but as you can see, just... Hold up, let's bring up the camera a little. So he can fit in camera. And there is the completed RX-78. Now let me get the other ones so we can do a size comparison real quick. The Psycho Gundam appears to be missing a foot. I do not know where the foot is. Also covered in dog hair. Typical. Holy shit, you are a mess of dog hair. God. Oh, Gunner. Okay. Oh, you are not presentable at all. God, there's so much dog hair on this. Why is there so much dog hair on the Psycho Gundam? Okay, the Psycho Gundam is going to be a stand-in for a perfect grade. If I can get all this hair off of him. Jesus Christ. I just realized I never finished the Psycho Gundam's paint job. Whatever. Okay, chat, you ready? There he is. As you can see, a little hard to fit all on screen. But let's start with the high grade. Just see how big he is next to the high grade and how he looks. It really looks nice in all honesty. You can definitely see the increase of detail. So a lot of the detail actually on this guy is here. He's just not panel lined, which is a real testament to the quality of the high grade, if nothing else. Ooh. But here they are side by side. You get to see how massive the master grades are, and you just sometimes forget that. Oh, I did forget to get the Zaku. Let me get the Zaku out. Oh, why am I bred right now? Because I forgot to turn on VTube Studio before stream. And if I turn it on now, it'll crash the hand cam. There's a 50-50 shot it'll crash the hand cam and I'll have to restart my computer. So I didn't want to take that risk. But here is the Zaku 2. You can see just how more portly the Zaku is, you know. Big stompy robot. But ooh, they actually look really nice next to one another. And the Zaku, which is actually really impressive because the Zaku 2 is so much older. The Zaku 2 is... God, how big is it? I mean, how old is it? It's like, I think from the early 2000s or at least the mid 2000s this guy is. While this boy is... Tell me your secrets. From 2015. And you are from, coincidentally I have the, sorry my audio is kind of all over the place for right now, but you are from 2007. Not as far as I thought. They're less than a decade separated. But it's still a 8-year gap between the two of them. McKeeve. Actually, I have to admit, the fingers on this guy are a little bit better. In all honesty. Ooh. Sure, he doesn't have, like, mobility in the thumb, but he has all the same mobility in the hand. They're not as big, so they're not as, like, clunky as this guy's is. This guy's finger's broke. This guy, if a finger comes off, I can just put it back in. Like, you assemble the hand. This guy's finger's broke, and I just have to get new hands now. This is older than you. Ooh. Oh my god, you sweet summer child. Ooh. But here we have these beautiful, beautiful Zakus. Actually, how old is the damn thing? Are you old enough to drink Zaku 2? Wait a minute. 3, 5, 18. It's 18 years old, I think. Yeah. Yeah, this is 18 years old. Not old enough to drink, though. Ooh. But then let us get out this guy again. I'm sorry he's so filthy and covered in hair, but my dog is a little demon, and Jesus Christ, I left this guy on the floor. Don't ask why. I was organizing my Gunpla. But compared to the equivalent of a perfect grade, this is how big he is compared to, you know, something that's slightly shorter than a perfect grade. It kind of twists, it kind of reverses the table. It's like an Uno reverse card from the high grade. You know, the high grade makes it to about the waist. He's going to be missing a foot. But this guy makes it to about... Ooh. Actually, I think they make it to the exact same height on it. Yeah, he makes it to just at the top of the waist. And he also, it looks like, makes it to just the top of the waist. Ooh. Honestly, I kind of understand that when you say, like, anything older than 5 years. But I've actually I don't think I've actually done a size comparison with a master grade to this guy, and I've never actually been able to appreciate the fact that it is a consistent scaling. It's funny that he's just cut off at the waist, but it is a consistent scaling, like, between each one of these for the height of them. Ooh. That's really cool, and I'd actually would love to if I got a perfect grade RX-78, which I'm not the most interested in, but if I did, I'd love to have them lined up like this. I need to find where your foot is. But it's a really great build. And I only have the Zaku 2 to compare it to. So we're just going to do a quick comparison in quality wise. And when it comes down to build, this guy had some alignment issues. This guy was a little finicky in places. This guy, I love him. I love Zaku 2s. They're beautiful. This thing is hell to build. And it's really fun to build, don't get me wrong. It's very old and it has like it's not the most flexible of builds, but it's still a very fun build until you get to these things. Because for these, you have to lace these pipes yourself. You have to clean up and make sure that, you know, these don't have any marks on them that's too ugly. And you have to do this here, 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 and here. You need to do that 4 times. Ooh. And with 2 of these are like literally like slinkies that you have to lace around. So it's a lot easier than this dude. And difficulty wise, this guy is a little bit of a unmanageable. I see my machine. Amuro Ray. How you doing, Amuro? We got done building your Gundam the Origin RX-78. It's a great build, as I'm saying. And even though these guys are only separated by 8 years, which is a long time in Gunpla, you can really appreciate just how easier this guy is, even though he's 10 years old. How much more streamlined he is from this guy, from this Zaku. Like, this Zaku also isn't the most flexible, I'll be honest. Like, you can do that, but it kind of breaks the mold a little. Meanwhile, this man, his finger fell off. Let's just ignore that. That's my fault, not the build's fault. That's my fault. My fault. Ooh. Master Grade Sinanju does have the same pipes. I forgot about that. I suppressed that information because I also built the Master Grade Sinanju, but I gave it to my brother. And after I gave it to my brother, I've never thought of it again. Ooh. Give me your gun. Give me your gun. His other finger fell off. Again, I broke the fingers. It's not the kit's fault. I broke the fingers. I want to make that perfectly clear. Do not hold that against it. I was drunk on melatonin and did the construction wrong. But as I was doing a comparison, like, this is so much more fluid in just the leg movement than, give me this. This is. Like, this feels like you're kind of overstretching it. The legs are actually feel like they're really low set in the skirt, so it feels like you shouldn't be going this far. Ooh. Did it have the same hands as the Zaku too? It didn't have these hands, so yeah, probably. Ooh. It had the same style hands, if nothing else. I don't know if it had the exact same hands, but it had the same style hands. You're right about that. But this, it feels like it's meant to be, you know, it allows for that. It has that armor separation also here. Ooh. It has these little parts like this that allow his arms to move up. Just the flexibility is so much more than in this dude. This guy, you have to just put in a pose that's pretty stagnant. I don't even know if you could do the kick. Could you do the... You can do the kick. You can do the kick. Ooh. You can do the kick. Okay. I don't know how easy that would be to do with master grade stands, but you can do the kick. But this guy is just really nice. You can open up the cockpit real quick. That's embarrassing. Wait a minute. There we go. I made that look way harder than it is. To open up the cockpit, you just have to put your fingernail there. And boom, you can open it up and see a very white Amuro Ray. Yeah, that was just last week. I just broke the fingers. I broke the fingers, and it was on this pinky that I twisted it, and it snapped, and I was like, why are you snapping? And then I looked at the instruction, and it was like, oh, because I'm doing it wrong. But it has a very easy to access, and it's actually, the cockpit's a lot easier than this guy who... Oh, Lord. To get his open, what you need to do is you need to get effectively a tweezer, and there's a little piece of purchase right there that you have to rely on, and then you can open it up and you can see a char. Ooh. That's one thing that is definitely improved, is it's a lot easier to get access to the cockpit. This is just so much more streamlined than this guy is. I love this guy. This guy has a wonderful detail, and I love Zaku 2s. They're my favorite mobile suits. But this guy is really refreshing to see and have, and I cannot wait to have him on display on my shelf and to be the first mobile suit, to be the first Gunpla on my new shelf. After I get his hands fixed and I give him a shoulder cannon. I don't have the Thunderbolt, but I do have the Psycho Zaku. Ooh. Because I am a Zaku fan. I have not seen the Thunderbolt, though, to be fair to myself. I have not seen the Thunderbolt, but I do have the Psycho Zaku, and I want to build that, but I don't know when I would have time to build it. But with all that, I would definitely give this as a recommendation. It is, I would say, not the most beginner-friendly. Even though this is really tedious, even though this is super tedious, I actually think this is more beginner-friendly than this is, simply because of the hands. If you are not, even with all the Gunpla I've been doing, mind you, I was drunk on melatonin, but even with all the Gunpla I've been doing, I still broke the hands on this. Okay? This guy, just solid, you just put everything together, straightforward, really simple in the grand scheme of things, you know? It is no more complex than, say, a modern high grade. It's more complex, but it's no more difficult than a modern high grade. It's just more complex and a little more tedious, but it's not like more difficult, I would say. Ooh, and I actually say this because modern high grades, in many qualitative fashions, are not only inspired by this master grade, but actually go above and beyond this master grade. I'll actually give you a direct comparison real quick before we... Oh god. I like the thing where you're saying the trash bags. I like the design aspect of having like your joints covered, like the Nightingale has. But I cannot imagine actually putting those on as fabric or whatever they have would be fun. The Nightingale is just solid plastic and it looks really good, but I imagine it is impossible. But I like how this was for the RX-78, but we're now talking about the Zaku 2 for some reason. But this is honestly, this little dude right here is honestly in many aspects, even though he's smaller, kind of a better model than this is. This is from like 2003, or this is from like, this is less than 5 years old, is all I can remember. I'm pretty sure. It might be from 2018. I could be completely wrong. But even though, like, he has these, you know, I don't know where his shoulder shield is, don't ask. But he has these nice flexible shoulders. He has, you know, he can move around. He can look around, like, without any real encumbrance. I say while his mouth is covering it. Ooh, is getting blocked by his torso. He even has, like, a little bit of flexibility here. It's very minor, but he even has a little bit of flexibility in his, like, chest itself and whatnot. And his legs are higher set in his skirt, and look how, like, he can raise his leg and it's no big deal, right? This guy shows his age in comparison. His legs are lower set. There's all these just elements that just feel older and less flexible, and you feel a little less confident in moving him around. He is older, and I'm not really sure what we're doing here because I'm realizing I'm drunk on melatonin. I don't know what happened to the shoulder shield. It fell off, and I need to find it. I realized like last month it was missing, and it's probably been missing for the last like 3 months, in all honesty. You think it's 2025? Well, that's still 5 years. I'm still in the safe zone. Ooh, that's one method. But this guy, amazing kit, but he shows his age, only has like a single bend there. But this guy is just a qualitative improvement that jumps far more. Oh, I was doing that to say how this guy, even though he's an older kit, because his age, it makes him actually a bit more accessible as a master grade than this guy is. Ooh, he's also probably easier to find. You might be able to find him at Hobby Lobby if you're lucky. This guy might be a little more difficult to find, in all honesty. But the worst parts about this guy, outside of the hands, which I messed up on, is just the alignment issues, particularly with the torso. But everything aligns properly. It's just that it might take you a minute to get everything aligned. But that's probably the most difficulty you're gonna have. Everything fits together really snugly. Everything seems to be really nice, except like the only loose part I have in this entire figure, not counting the figure, not counting the fingers, I broke those. Those don't count. Those do not count. I broke those. The one part of the figure that is loose is this, but I can tighten that up. I can fix that literally right as stream ends. I can thicken this up, I can thicken up this joint and fix it. Not a problem. But everything else is tight as it should be. It's not so tight that it feels like it's gonna wear itself out immediately. It feels like it's a proper tightness. Everything moves properly. Ooh, he even has, for an RX-78, even has better chest mobility than you might expect. I know this might not seem like a lot, but RX-78, because they have the cockpit here, are kind of like Starscream of Gundam, where they don't have very flexible waists. Ooh. Like, they can spin around unlike Starscream, but when it comes down to looking up and down, they're pretty limited. Oh, you finished your free. Awesome. That's better than having no Hobby Lobbies, I suppose. I have like not the most options, but I have at least a Hobby Lobby and a local hobby store to go to for where I live. But yeah, if you would be looking into this, I would say get the kit. It's not super difficult. The most difficult thing is the hands, and all you have to do is just make sure you pay attention to the instructions and follow them closely for the hands. And as long as you do that, everything on the kit should come together real cleanly, real simply. Ooh. If not counting the hands, I would actually say this kit is more simple than this guy, because it is more simple without the hands being counted for. Ooh. That is the RX-78 02 from Gundam The Origin. A beautiful build that was very fun to prep, and your hand fell off there, buddy. Let me fix that. And very fun to build. But alas, we are at the end. Next week we will be back. Well, this week we will be back later this week to read The King in Yellow on Wednesday and Thursday, maybe Tuesday. In the middle of the week, we'll be reading The King in Yellow. And then on Friday, we'll be playing more Clair Obscur. Then, though, for my Gunpla fans, we will be back building something next week. Maybe I'll let you vote on the Discord, but you have to be over 18 to be on the Discord. But maybe I'll let you vote on the Discord. I don't know. Ooh, probably not. I'll probably just build the balls. Oh, get the RX-70... Wait, the RX-70... Wait a minute, do I have that? Hold up, before I go, I'm gonna check if I have that. I don't think I have the 5, but I might have the 4. if one of those is the white and blue RX-78, I have the master grade of that. I don't know where it is, which is ironic because I organized all my stuff 2 weeks ago, and I don't know where anything is again. I don't even know if I have the Zazabi Verka. Let me... I do have the Zazabi Verka. It's right there. I just had to turn around and look under something.
What are you doing there? What's the point of organizing all of this if nothing makes sense?
Why is the Alex there? Why is the Alex with the Verka kits? What is going on? High grade twin balls and master grade Verka. That's what I have. I'll probably be doing the twin balls next week. Unless I will just want to be boring and do the glider thing. From Mercury. I think I have the RX-78-4. I cannot build the RX. I do want to build the Alex, but I cannot build the Alex next week because next month we have to build the Hobby Hyzak for the 4th of July. However, I should put this on a poll next time I do Master Grade. Why weren't you on the Master Grade poll? Actually, oh wait, no, because this wasn't on the Master Grade poll, I think, because I bought this after the poll that this was for. Or I forgot you existed. I want to believe it's the former, because it would be more embarrassing if it's the latter. Ooh. You know what? I know I should be ending, but I'm going to give one more look over. But I'm going to put that there for the moment. I'm going to give one more look over. That's confusing as hell, because that's not... whatever. I'm going to give one more look over for...
That's an AT-80. Oh, there it is. There it is. Why are you there? Why would I put you in the most inconvenient spot imaginable? Because I'm not building you literally until next 4th of July, when I can customize you into an American-type Gundam. That's why.
Let me... you out! You are... Are you the RX-78-3, actually? What are you? It's not the 4, it's the RX-78-3. It was neither. Ooh. Make sure that there's no hobby store identify. Okay. No. It was this. It was neither all along. I was wrong all along. I do want to build... yeah, I've heard... that's actually why I got the Alex. The Alex, I've heard only good things about. That's the 2.0 Alex, I think? Or no? No, this is the Alex. Okay. I thought it was the 2.0, but I've heard only great things about it. Oh. I hear if you do custom paint job on it, the armor is a little tight to fit on and will scrape off, but I'm not doing that. I'm not that high quality. Yeah, that's the G3. It's the RX-78-3. Okay, so with that, I think I'm going to try to find a place. Nobody's going to be streaming right now, but I'll try to still link you guys out. But with that, if you're new here, follow along or give a subscription for more. If you are on YouTube, a like goes a long way. Ooh. But regardless, always remember to have a great day, a wonderful life, and don't lose your head. But let me find a place to link you beautiful people out to. The high-grade Comfort is actually pretty good, even in its older... Even though it's an older kit, it's really good for its age, in my opinion. Though a Revive would be nice regardless. I would like a 2.0, though, Master Grade. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to link you out to a friend, GM Powerlines, who's playing... GM, what the hell are you playing? Ankai Star Rail, sure. Thank you. We will be back next week with a simpler build. And then in July, we will be building the Hobby Hyzak, because that's a red, white, and blue Gundam for the 4th of July. And then we will go back to voting. And you guys will be able to vote whether you're on YouTube or any other service. You will be able... Well, not Twitch. Suck an egg. My apologies. But if you are... But you will be back to voting in July as well. And you guys will be able to vote between the... I'll just spoil it now. The Amazing Red Warrior, the white high mobility Zaku 2, and the Zuda, because red, white, and blue. Oh hey, those are actually given in red, white, and blue order. That was totally intentional. Have a great day, everybody. There's Powerline's stream. Let me check. Ooh. Okay, we got 2 people on Twitch. We're gonna link you out. I'm not gonna leave you hanging, Twitch. Nobody's streaming Twitch. I'm gonna leave you hanging, Twitch. There's nobody there. There's nobody there, and I'm too tired to look for a channel that's not already in my follows. So I'm very sorry for that. But have a great day, a wonderful life. Don't lose your head, as I've already said. We'll be back later this week with the King in Yellow. And if you just want to see Gunpla, we will be back next week we'll be back with a simpler build next week. Probably the balls, but don't count on it, because I cannot be relied upon. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.